Welcome to
I
session...
got it with one hand.
I think session 11. We're in session 11?
Session 11.
Session 11 of Western Wilds. Does anybody have a recap to give us? Anyone who perhaps wrote it themselves and is responsible for the content?
I, Brian Speak, am reading this of my own free will. A town beset by a curse of blood. No answers to be found in well-written knowledge. Founded by fire, but only smoke remains. No ember to remember when the fire started. A home now burning, rushing to save those inside. Maul to break glass, and a leap into safety. Dun dun dun. The flames abate. A man inside saved his close brush with death. Leads to an answer of woe. A call from home, no help at first. But soon a new perspective provides new insight. A shunt, made of those long dead and long past, illuminates the shade of death and misery. As stakes picked up, an academic gives a clue. 3 portions to a curse: altar, rite, and sacrifice. To find an end to death, what was done must be undone. An old man moved by great worm to pace the town in circles 3. A pink-haired girl given an early Christmas gift and the gallows destroyed. Far above, a bird of blackest night, its wing beats thunder, and its cry the gale arrives to take the dead home. And what was done has now been undone. The curse now ends though the town must still end. A banker profits off the desperation of those leaving.
Wounded, sir.
I've checked that characterisation. Thank you very much.
There was more as well that's not been pre-written, so I'll see if I can remember other things. Okay, so a sheriff in town
Delivers mail. And...
A banker receives his mail just in time.
Good. Nice.
Is this a dramatic reimagining of Postman Pat?
Postman Pat and his black and white cat.
Now, is that slam poetry or just William Shatner?
I couldn't possibly say.
Yeah.
Will also...
You went shopping for shovels?
Just made off with the contents of the safe.
Yeah, that's true.
We went shopping for shovels.
Bounty contracts and silver bars, mostly, I think you found in there. You got a load of stuff half off because people didn't want to carry it across a desert.
Yep.
And
a lot of stuff at discount.
Yeah.
And then we went back to Novum.
Hot-footed it back to Novum.
Yep.
Now,
obscuring our tracks as well.
Several conversations happened, and I'm trying to remember who they were between.
Okay, so...
You two had a conversation.
Yeah.
You two had a conversation. Yes. Yeah, cool. Yeah, sweet. I don't fucking know. One of you decide amongst yourselves who's going to have an inspiration point. I'm not a cop.
Give it to Ryan today.
I think that you're a cop.
I'm not a cop.
They gotta say.
Why'd you say that? Why'd you say you're not a cop?
As I was saying in my unmarked black van earlier. Cool.
You're the kind of guy who's friends with snipers.
So, it is inside the chimney funnel of Novem, with the rock walls sort of closing in above you, leaving only this small patch of sky at the top of the canyon. You could be forgiven for thinking that the weather is, fine, maybe misty. But if you stand directly underneath it in the command tent, there is heavy, pounding rain coming down like bullets. The big sort of thwack, you see the dust rising up from underneath the... It is raining catastrophically outside of the canyon.
But the canyon itself is not flooding.
The canyon is not flooding.
Where is the water going? Is it just sinking?
It's flowing out down the...
okay.
Because the canyon floor sits above the desert floor.
Right.
It is basically flowing out down the... down where the entranceway, where all the barricades were set up in the past.
Was this going to make it easier to excavate? Because the ground's all...
I will take that into consideration.
Okay.
You guys have awoken, various conversations have happened. You've had a long rest after your interesting times. And what are you guys doing? Anyone doing anything in particular?
So I'm going to say this out of character because I've not figured out how Will would say it yet. But I want to figure out a way to secure Novum from just people just walking in and nicking all our stuff.
So if you're voicing this guy, I think Willie would say something like, "No one comes up here because of the ghosts already, and the skulls and all the other crap. People are afraid of this place, and no one comes down here much anyways. So they're probably okay."
Yes, but I'm thinking like in the future.
Futures people are still. Do you know what? In however long people have been in this world, they're all superstitious and scared of things they don't understand. And I think that's going to be true until long past all our lives.
We weren't.
We're stupid.
We are very sure, yes. But we have...
And we knew this place was here by knowledge that is very difficult to come by.
Just for argument's sake, let's say that we were to open this place up to people eventually.
Aye.
I think might be the moral thing to do.
It might be, dearie.
It's also nice to have a good bolt hole if things start going sideways anywhere. So having a place like this, which is already naturally defensible, if we can make it more secure, more actively defensible, I think that would be a worthwhile investment.
You'd be looking at fixing that machine on the top of the ridge over there then, and rearming all the weaponry and the shields and all the other stuff, which we'll need parts for, I suspect, at this point.
That's why I'm wanting to think about this now, so we can build a shopping list.
Need to find another site, but I'm interested in finding something else. I need to know where this prophecy is going to lead me. I have a couple of ideas of where it might be, but I'm not 100% sure.
In that case, can I survey the equipment, specifically the power generation equipment and the camouflage?
So the solar generator and the Paytax unit.
Yeah, if there's time, then the physical shield grid, but I don't think we've got enough power to actually run that.
You have the flirtation of memory from the person that was in your head briefly, and you certainly do, that without external power cells or more generators, the shield was the problem. The shield was necessary to keep out the smog and the toxins in the air, because there was an active filtering of almost like a semi-permeable membrane to let the oxygen in, but not the rest of it. The Paytax unit you can certainly power up with the existing generator once it's been cleared and fixed up a little bit dinged up.
How close are we? So how close is Novum from the place that we recharge the crystals?
Ooh, that's a week away.
It's a week.
Okay,
Yeah, I will
so
move you onto the Volan map quickly so you can see. Ruler.
Yeah,
Marking stops at 334.
Yeah.
So it's almost due north. About the scale's not quite right on this yet, but yeah, about a week north.
So,
you go into that square there,
my
and
concern
then
really is that this line might be moving soon as well, and we're not exactly.
So camouflage that's got to be its primary defense, right? So
it was in the past.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it'll hold up against anything but a god. So.
Well, even hold up against the gods apparently. It
hid them from the gods.
So
it was the shield that. So yeah, can I survey specifically if there's anything? So from the solar generator point of view, because from the memory it was kind of on its last legs. What can be done to ensure its longevity / stability?
Cool.
And then how do we repair or upgrade the Paytax unit?
Fantastic. So you're investigating the generator and the Paytax unit, Augustine?
I would help with the Paytax unit.
For sure. So we'll say this is the half of the day. Looking out, you're not going to need a nature or survival check to know that it will be dangerous to travel at this point. The flash floods in the hills and rivers of water coming down.
I might get to try excavating more of the buildings.
Yeah, absolutely fine. And Lily?
I think Lily's trying to think about where this place the landing. They said the landing grounds is. She's trying to figure out.
Okay,
where
I
that
think in
is.
that case we're going to go around that way, if that's all right.
Okay.
Lily.
So one of the things she's thinking about doing is asking Leviathan directly. So just going up to Will and say, "I need to speak to Leviathan." Do
You have an earpiece now.
Oh yes, I can speak to her directly.
If you want, you can certainly speak to her. You're not guaranteed of a response, but yeah.
Leviathan, can I ask you a question if you're there?
You get like I think you would have got like an eyepiece with this as
Okay.
well, but it's not like one that stays all the time. It's like a folder,
Out, yeah.
and you get like a sort of touchscreen in midair to like to sort of put it on.
Yeah.
Lillian.
I was hoping you might be able to help me with that prophecy we both heard.
There appears to be a small feline mammal somewhere in your camp, Lillian.
I know the damn things. I think it's trying to find some
I
rabbits.
It is
told you we
curious that
told
cats
anything.
outlasted the apocalypse.
I told you we
They're quite cats, roaches,
Extremely, they're extremely resilient,
I said the
And
and
shield.
they have cute little feet. No.
It'll hold out anything but a god. I've told you guys.
Sorry, that's all non-canon. I can make those decisions. God damn it. What assistance would I be able to render?
I need to try and know where the ladies' chambers at the landing grounds would be. I have a few ideas what it could be. Landing grounds might refer to where a god dropped, so the glass, the glass area.
What do you refer to as the glass impact crater TR1 was the strike, the landing point of a weapon rather than a god. It was an impact crater rather than a footprint.
Right. It doesn't match up with the ladies' chambers there, unless there's something you know.
There were many gods of a large number of genders. I do not know of any particularly that would be referred to as the ladies' chambers.
I'm a bit stumped as to where to go next. Is all. I was hoping to have your vast knowledge might be able to.
I may be able to help with that, Lillian.
Why do you say it like that every time? I appreciate any help you can give me.
William, you hear this over your... I understand you are planning to excavate some of the tents today.
Yes.
Please proceed to these coordinates, and she basically drops a map ping in your mini map
Yeah.
with your new mini.
When I look over, do we just see a hovering icon?
You do. Will took the sharp mind edge and now has a compass, a mini map, and a clock.
I needed a heads-up display for the aesthetic.
I mean, I'm here for it. Like, you know, I'm here for it, right?
That's fair.
Yeah. In that case, we'll go to Will. Yeah, you are basically, as you are like picking up shovels and sort of this conversation takes a few minutes after you all sort of break away. Yeah, you are directed to. Let me pop you back on Novum.
Yeah, what's the next day as well?
How do I do that?
So the little canyon that we're in, it's not filling up with water.
Yeah, because the water, we're higher up than the desert floor.
Although if we are going to have a settlement as well, we'll probably need to find out where to obtain water from. But we might excavate.
Well, if
The right one. Let me
There's
look at this for
probably
a second.
Novum base fully excavated.
Yeah, but I
Avert your eyes.
don't look, Marion.
But there's also a cave system underneath the
Oh,
town,
yeah.
which is where they're getting their water from.
yeah,
Ooh,
so there's
let's
probably
go
an
check out the
underground.
death cannon that I can see on that mini.
So there's probably there's probably an underground river underneath this.
Or at least the area, so
Yeah.
maybe we can,
Hey,
depending how close it is.
but there must be, yeah. It can't
Where
be.
the ever-loving fuck did I put this fucking thing?
I assume we're still not looking at this
I
stage.
think Novum base sounds good.
But I can't.
Second.
Oh,
we can.
activate. There we go. Sorry, I hadn't scrolled up far enough. Don't look, Marion, and also don't think too hard about the age difference between me and Marion. Cool. Your man Leviathan drops you a map ping here. Can you see where that is?
Right.
See
there,
that
Yeah.
tiny little hand.
Yeah, because this is a big old map.
Yeah.
Yeah, drops you a map ping there.
Yeah, I'll start excavating that.
Cool. Riddle me a check you wish to use for that.
Oh, I need to find my mouse pointer.
Can I see him do that? Because does he need any help, dear?
No.
You just like to see him work on his own, don't you?
I mean, rigorous testing is needed of the improvements I've made to him.
I suppose that's true.
By the way, this comes only to you.
Yeah,
as
of
well.
course.
I'm assuming it's essentially a walkie-talkie, so his comes over the earpiece, but we have to speak naturally back to him. But it's not like a telepathic link.
No, it is very much it's
It's a
like
Bluetooth headset.
yeah, completely, yeah.
I mean, mine can be internal.
yours can, yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone else's has to be.
I suppose everyone else could speak into their hand like that.
Yeah.
You know, like the,
It's you have shortwave radios basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say an athletics check
Yeah, that works for me.
with advantage because I'm using a shovel.
I agree. Yeah, perfect. Classic use of a shovel to dig.
Unless you ask Bal, in which case very unorthodox.
Very unfortunate. A total of 17.
17. Cool. Yeah. This actually takes you really quite some time. This is a big tent as well. You're basically you find like the center point of it very quickly. It's like it's a dome-shaped one, or like more like the command tent than any of the ones to the side.
Okay, what I'm going to do
Yeah.
is I'm going to like weaken the ground around it, rather than fully excavating it. Weaken the ground around it, and then I'm going to pump a spell slot into it
Perfect.
to
Absolutely fine. Yeah.
like make it pop up.
Yeah, for sure. So you
That's why I popped that spell
you
slot.
put the spell slot in. It's not going to do the whole job. You will need Misty up there on the generator.
Oh yeah,
to,
no, this is just to like help me with excavation. This is just flavour.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And I can
so
get the
you-
spell slot back on a short rest, which I'll take after I'm done. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I'll use 2 spell slots then.
Rock and roll.
Why not? I'm on holiday.
No, Joe, it's more like a
Make it
Okay, here
rain. Make it rain with my $2. Yeah. You uncover. Yeah, a dome-shaped tent.
oh, I think I'm done.
Like this. The little one it sits just off the side of the main command tent.
So so it's taking him hours to do this, right? And
Yeah.
this time, and I picked up some new supplies from town. I've made some cookies. And I bring him a cookie. As he finishes, I just kind of like shove it in his mouth. Thank you, dearie.
So we have the fabulous Bacon Grandma and Mr. Diggory over here. You two, you are climbing up the rope up to the surgeon. Fantastic. Give me your choice of tech or arcana.
Well, I will go Arcana. So
I like that it's both now. Like skill.
23.
Nice.
Ooh.
I've rolled a 15.
It's a 24 for you, isn't it?
I think so.
Because you've got the expertise.
Yep.
A 23 and a 24.
Yes.
Okay, so you are you looking at the generator or the paytax unit first?
Probably the generator first, because if we can't get that back, the paytax
Paytax unit, yeah.
is kind of...
Okay, so you start looking at the systems. You are figuring a little bit. You're working your way. You've learned how to like scan and stuff, and like download blueprints from accessible things, and you're getting the hang of this this like flexible wrist pad you got now. And it has snake. Like it has a little game where a snake leads a little thing that looks a bit like a snake, but it's definitely not a snake. A snake is a modern animal, and it's eating fruits, but they're not like.
There's a lot like the snake film that Leviathan took.
Oh, canon, and I can make those decisions.
I don't like it when he makes those decisions.
23 to 24, brilliant. Yeah, you start looking at the generator. So the generator is essentially like a big. It's got like the post in the middle, this like rock post that has been basically just like stone shaped up to create a mount for the panels to go around, and the paytax unit sits within this sort of stone cradle. Anything like any non-reinforced metal would have long rusted, any wood would have rotted, but making it a stone was a brilliant bit of foresight on the part of the ancestors, basically. And you start to look at the panels themselves, and you are doing like the systems work. Essentially, you're working out what goes to where. You're over here doing what you do best, which is making energy go somewhere. The actual like panels,
down here.
the photovoltaic panels, essentially. Yep. You take a look at them, and they are made of this sort of like grey, grainy material. It's very, very rough, like shark skin when you touch it. But you can see it's got like the panels, like they're basically hexagons, like a bit like a bee nest, kind of the chambers of a hexagon chambers, or like a dolomite column, with like a hexagon in the middle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see that these are actually modular. You could slot more in if you had more. But of the ones you have, 3 are working, and they are not working at capacity. I'm going to say with a 23 and a 24, that's honestly great, and I'm very excited to see people using technology skill. Over the course of these 4 hours, like the delicate sort of soldering work that you're doing, the very dexterous sleight of hand kind of like just putting the wires back in and bending pins back into place, almost with your thieves' tools, basically. And then the judicious application of energy. You get 2 of the panels up and running of the... so you can get, with that check, you can get 1 non-functional panel working, or you can bring 2 working ones up to scratch.
Should we get a non-working one working to add some level of redundancy?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it also possible
Yeah.
to try to find out if there's a way that we can get more of these? Like, because presumably if we went to another Martel site and found a working printer, we might be able to get them to print more. But is there a way we could do that ourselves? Like, is there any way we can work out what the material's made of, or is the technology...
Because you were saying I can get the blueprints of these things, right?
Like more, you're more getting like you're
circuit diagrams.
Yeah, that kind. It's not like
ingredients.
the classified. It's like what a resistor or what a capacitor is and what they are made of and how they work, that kind of thing. And rather than like the.
Could I get the like part ID? So if we ever went to a site, I could just look it up.
Romy Tech.
That's a 14.
14. Worth pursuing, and you can download the data from this to try again later. You don't find it this morning, basically.
Sure.
But yeah, so you sort of part of it is basically cleaning like the seafloor debris off of one of the least cracked panels, and then once you're like pretty sure that the you've still got like that glowing holographic readout on the side of the Paytax unit and where the generator is, and then you're pretty sure when you go to slot the like a safecracker style into the back into this array, and there's like a big sort of energy surge, and one of the wires that is like stapled into the rock that the cannon just goes off wild, and then you hear sort of. Can I get an arcane check from anyone?
Hells yes, you can.
Anyone or everyone?
Anyone who wants to.
20.
Not tech.
You can make tech, yeah. Actually, no, sorry, this would be Arcana. Because of the specific nature of the...
18.
19.
19?
25.
25.
6.
Cool. What you recognise basically is drift globes, which are like an uncommon magic item. But these are like key... These basically fly out of ports in like... ports that sort of open up in this canyon and are basically providing almost like street lighting for this little canyon. Just, where the power came online, it came above a certain threshold. You can see, having picked up like the language pack for, you've got like a translation program basically running on your datapad now. And you can see that where it came above a certain threshold, you can see the tank has filled somewhat on the power supply, basically. And then the one sort of cable gets it sputters and dies, and then everything sort of goes a bit more stable. Should we have any music? We should have music.
I think there's a little bit of music coming out.
There
There
was,
is,
but
yeah.
it's to see the stop
So, yeah,
now, or
yeah.
it's very, very quiet.
I think it just stopped. So when the drift globes came out, they came out from the walls.
Yeah.
So that implies there's there's some kind of facility, like either they're just like little panels and they just set at the wall, but then that also implies that there's like wires, because that's how their technology works.
I suppose we need to excavate the walls as well.
You can actually see the wires that have been stapled in with these big rock pitons. They lead down to each of these ports, going around like in a.
So we can actually see
the wire that you climbed up, that sort of long, painstaking, finger-aching climb up around the spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they are, sort of,
Could we fabricate a ladder, maybe, to get up there, so you don't have to climb up and down all the time?
Well, we've got a rope, don't we?
Oh, have we hooked up a rope?
We hooked up a rope.
There's a rope there, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm referring to the climb you did the first time, yeah.
Right.
I just want to check we don't have any fabricating facilities at the moment, do we?
Not currently.
No.
Well, we know of one, but it's out of printed
We've got the
material.
food one there.
Oh, at this side.
At this side.
Oh, sorry.
There might be, but we.
So
just
you
don't-
have,
In terms of machines, there's a food machine.
there's a food
and a
fabricator
medical
here, you know,
machine.
and there is a medical
Well,
machine.
We've only powered up the medical. We've not powered up.
You've powered up the you have provided enough power to like get the biocradle running so Misty can scroll through the menus, but it's not capable of off of the current like edifice here, there's not enough power to do anything with the biocradle. It would be like taking away the whole Paytax.
Yeah, we have some.
I
Some
think
of
you
those-
have two power cells.
two power
We had
cells.
4 and we used 2.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
to heal
power
you
cells.
two, yeah,
we have 2 power cells left, so we can do something with them.
So,
You.
Yes.
At this point, you can see basically this sort of happens around the same time. These two have been beavering away up there in the little science club. You've been digging, you've been making cookies, and honestly, division of fucking labour. That's like a well-oiled machine at this point. Will provides a little bit of juice, and then the power comes on, and Misty, you can see that Will has finished excavating this tent down there, and you can, if you want to, just put the dial up on one of the
to help it inflate the tent.
exactly that.
I mean, because the control panel's actually on the solar thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then, yeah, I don't. I assume Will's not currently still on top of it, right?
Oh,
No,
it
no.
would be funny if
Off
it
to
was
one
that.
side.
Yeah.
He can be if you both choose for that to be the case.
I mean, I asked the question, but I suddenly realised that his answer probably wouldn't affect what I did next.
you cast power word yeet.
I'm going to roll a dexterity saving throw.
If you so choose, you certainly may.
16. I rolled a 17. And I
Yeah,
minus
you
1,
you feel the ground begin to shake underneath your feet, and basically sort of like not like a super dexterous action hero, more like a sort of John McClane like John McClane rolls his acrobatics off of strength. I think we're all on the same page there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Didn't
And-
think that was an option.
I mean, it's not, but he has like a very specific subclass. Absolute bullshit.
Yes, the absolute bullshit fighter.
Yeah.
Although I found out recently that some characters can make alternate stat things, like barbarians, if they so choose. Like if it was appropriate, could make like an intimidation roll.
technically-
With
That's part of the
strength.
Xanathar's rules, yeah.
Yeah, you could do it. You could swap any stat for anything else. It's the skill. So you're trained in the skill, but then you can use stats for different things. Like
That's
intimidation and strength is the one that usually pops up. But,
Yeah. Quick
Yeah.
question about the solar
Yeah.
panel. Are there embedded energy crystals within it? Specifically because obviously it's a solar generator, like, so is it taking half the power to power what's currently powering and then the other half into the energy crystal, so whatever we've got, it will continue running through the night, or is it chucking it all out?
There is a capacitor so it can charge overnight, yeah. That's more sort of the stuff that you're discovering. Like it is not using 100% of its throughput just to keep the tents inflated and the drift globe. You can also turn the drift globes off. It's just that's the thing you discovered was there. And you find the controls for that as well, of like just like basically light.
Yeah.
And it's also like fully like you can change the colours and like, you know, set them to like pulse and stuff. And
The
world
the
runs an
first
RPG.
thing that would happen for sure.
yeah. And lo, Lillian came upon them and said, "Unts, unts, unts, unts." So it is storing some power for the overnight, yeah. And if you really wanted to, you could divert all the power right now, but the circuits are unreliable.
It was more primarily a question of once it turns night, is this all just going to shut down and it'll begin in the day, or does it look like it's able to keep it
Now
running
that
during
you've
the
cleared
night?
now you've cleared away the debris and like it's getting
And the
more
cow
sunlight and the thank you. Also, the protocol that was being engaged to create all the ghosts in the battlefield around, it looks like that was an artifact of the undead presence as well. Like the whatever intelligence, the whatever scientist mind that remained there was taking advantage of what it knew best to basically be a dramatic bitch. Like
That's a mood.
So the Ghost King. I went to Lord of the Rings marathon yesterday. You know the Ghost King in Lord of the Things 3. What a dramatic man. Because like he absolutely did not have to just run like through Aragorn. He really didn't need to, but he chose to, and he did that for us. I have a secret message.
Oh, secret message. It's secret.
Okay, I'm gonna have to say this to you because I won't say the content, but roll me proficient in. No, roll me just raw int.
Is this for the second request?
Yeah,
2 requests. Oh boy, that's a question. Go for the second request first.
Cool. And that is that just raw int? Did you say, or was that like?
Yeah, roll me raw int for that one. Yeah.
That is 16 plus my.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So 21.
Yes, easily you can do that. The second half of the day, you indeed. Yeah. So once you've been, all your digging is done, you've had a nice lunch cooked by Grandma. Grandma's the best.
Yeah.
You guys have been fiddling around with the solar panels all day. You see on the underside they have that same like grainy sort of Nazca line looking circuitry as like your translation skull and a lot of the.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Misty, you see, goes over and just starts fiddling with the menus in the biocradle again.
Yep.
What are the rest of you guys doing with the afternoon?
We'll investigate.
Oh no, we're not done with you yet.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, wait.
What's in this tent I excavated?
Okay, so you guys can see like an octagonal sort of platform or something. It's like sticking. It's like in the ground, about sort of 5 inches high.
Right.
You get a ping on your tablet. Misty, would you mind diverting power to communications?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose shut off lights, I guess.
Yeah.
It's still during the day.
There is enough power to like put things on standby mode at this point.
Cool.
Like you're like even just clearing the debris off and like making it so the sun the catches were actually catching full sun rather than a fraction of a second is doing enough to like give you a low power level.
Cool.
You hear like the real scrape of like stone on sand and this thing gradually comes up, and then the two halves of it like opens like an iris, like a Stargate iris kind of thing. Inside is very, very fine, like black sand, almost like iron filings kind of thing.
Okay.
You ever seen like an Argentinian beach?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
No, but I can picture exactly what's about to happen.
Can you?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. You can.
This is going to create 3D images.
It is.
Yeah.
Out of sound.
Like you can see like holographic panels beginning to sort of on one side and like then and that actually come into life, and then like big sort of like spikes of like iron filings on a magnet, and it brings up the shape of a continent. It's not quite the continent you know from the maps.
Right.
I'll bring up my own image of the continent. And
It's similar.
Similar, so I could overlay to or compare even.
Could I get a raw int from both of you, please?
I can look at this and memorize it now.
Yeah.
10.
Raw int, you say? 15.
15. Some parts of this system are rabbits of negative euphoria. Like, there are bits of it that you know aren't working. Or something's not connected to something, or something's not plugged in, or like... Something is not This is not working at 100% capacity. But it brings up, this... you can see, like, a whole-ass, like, mountain range where there is now no mountain range in the glass. You can see... Yeah, and you can, as you sort of pass over, you can, like, move back and forth and, like, zoom in. And, If you're planning to plot a route to wherever you need to go next, this may be of assistance.
It will be. It will be, definitely. This is what was here,
Yes, I am unfamiliar with the cartographic tools of your time, but this is certainly what the world looked like when I was created.
Is it possible to update it with, because Will has a more updated version of the continent? Is it possible to update this with his version so that we can?
Interfacing would be difficult, but possible.
He doesn't exactly look like he has a USB port on him, does he?
Not where you can see. No, it can. It's just his belly button. Clink.
Right. Okay. But this will have all the sites that currently exist. And he was in the past talking about his relevance and his frame of reference. Is that how the prophecy works, or is the prophecy going to be about my frame of reference? That's something I would understand. Because what's the point of a prophecy if no one understands it?
The prophecy was for you.
So that it's my frame of reference.
Yes. I believe so anyway.
The ladies' chambers. It could be... So where is the greatest site on this continent for worshippers of death?
Also,
That I would
That's
know.
a religion check. Straight fucking up, first
Yeah,
of
that's
all.
fair.
question I've
Roll
got,
religion
though,
with wisdom, though.
Wisdom, okay.
Question I've got though. The guy said my lady's chambers, not your lady's chambers. Is that correct?
He did say my lady's chambers, yeah.
So, religion.
So it could be a goddess of prophecy rather than death. But
But it's for... Oh, God. Yes, 17.
17.
17, yeah.
Okay, so it depends on what you mean by death. If you mean your death,
Yeah.
probably Harlan, but that's a dearth of it anywhere else. Like in the Kyoto lands, it's wherever a Thunderbird is.
Yeah, it moves.
Yeah. In like Elysium just doesn't have the vibes. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's very... Okay, we're going to go real deep for like 50 seconds here. One of the most terrifying liminal spaces on Earth for me is service stations. You know, like motorway services.
Yeah.
Because they are utterly anathemical and antithetical to the existence of life, because nothing lives there. A lot of things exist there, nothing lives there. Even the people that work there
don't live there.
Don't live there.
Yeah, that's
and
true,
they
yeah.
weird me out in a big way. Elysium is kind of that. Like, it's not on the same wavelength as life and death. It's all bureaucracy and all, like... Yeah, it's not tuned in. So, Harlan is probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
But only by virtue of having the most vanilla humans, effectively.
Right.
Fort Morgan, they have their own fucking thing. They're all about like independence and frontier spirit. Like,
yeah,
it's not Fort Morgan.
Go fight a war that you'll probably die in. Yeah,
basically,
that's about right.
Hey, they're not doing bad, to be honest.
They're not doing badly.
Like
but...
in the Kyoto Civil War, it's pretty evenly matched because the Ulpa, Attila, Belana, and Raza are all the Light Swarm Cartel, and they would be completely sweeping through, considering that the Kitsa are mostly pacifist, the Garu are dwindling, the Reba are illusionists rather than any kind of actual combat mages, and then all of the other tribes are neutral. So the humans are actually really like picking up the slack there.
Yeah. Okay. So not that, not either there, not the glass. My Lady's Chambers, prophecy. There's not a site somewhere on here that was like a famous god of prophecy or goddess of prophecy.
That's another religion, but that's an int one, baby.
Sure. 19.
I regret saying that because actually there's no way you would know this. However, the way I will spin that is I'll use your roll of 19 for you're like saying this out loud, and Leviathan will say the goddess of prophecy was one of the first casualties of the war.
That's curious.
Perfect retroactive recollection of what your enemy is going to do is quite a powerful tool. The very first was the god of death.
Yes, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. If a god over death itself would be very, very dangerous for everyone involved. Either side, honestly. So prophecy fell. Where where did they fall? They must have fallen somewhere.
In heaven.
One of the other gods killed them.
Yes.
Right. Out of curiosity, which one? Or is it the
I
whole?
don't know. As a DM,
Okay.
I haven't made that up yet.
Okay, that's fair.
I haven't pulled that from the ether of whatever bullshit I come up with yet. You may tell from the rambling I'm doing that this is not a productive line of inquiry. The one of the other gods, Leviathan, will certainly come up with a name.
Yeah.
I tell you who it might have been. It might have been Aegon.
Okay.
It was the god of spies.
Yeah.
Quill?
Yeah, well,
Alright. Okay. Well,
that's a little treat just for you.
guess there's a bit of a... Right, so I need to find a landing site and something about these chambers, and I really don't have much of a clue beyond that. I guess I can go into... Maybe somebody's heard of this prophecy before, because it's been around for a while, and I would imagine there's not just one prophet in the entire world. There'd be more of them, and somebody else might have heard it.
Probabilistic nexus points can be accessed by any prophet.
So somebody else would have heard of this prophecy, and it potentially exists.
Not necessarily, but it could be accessed by any prophet.
There might be more of it.
An intriguing possibility I hadn't considered.
He was damaged, like real bad damage.
Oh, he got fully shot in the face.
So, so what he was gibbering out might not be the right, might be the rest of it, or might be slightly wrong.
That is certainly a possibility. But what Leviathan was saying there specifically was that prophecies are basically little knots in the fabric of reality.
So if there's another prophet out there,
and any other prophet could, by random chance, pick at that knot on any given day.
And given it's the last prophecy theory, just tell them
it was his last prophecy.
Oh, that's true. Okay, all right. Then I think my only goal really is to. The only thread I originally had was the firebrands anyway, so I may as well go seeking them out and see. And they have the biggest city nearby anyway, so.
Can I get an insight check?
Sure. That's going to be 27.
All right.
I have expertise in insight
All right,
now.
calm down.
Was
that enough 20 or 18?
That was 18, yeah.
18, nice. So it wasn't even, yeah.
No, it wasn't even the highest, yo.
Okay, so you are basically spending your whole afternoon just sitting and puzzling this out, looking at the map, sort of twirling it around, doing various things. You meditate on the meaning of the words of the prophecy, and it's going to be really embarrassing if I can't remember it. You have loved and lost, and those last lost sleep amongst the dead, but yet may be saved. Seek out my lady's chambers at the landing ground. There are... You have... How familiar is Lillian with prophecy? I mean, you grew up in a very sort of ecclesiastical kind of...
She would have been familiar with prophecy in the way that false prophet... Like her upbringing would have been around... They used false prophecy to convince her that she was this holy warrior for a while. And eventually she went, this is not fucking right.
Do you think that it was completely false, or did they just twist it so much?
She never bothered to check.
That's fair.
Thing.
Yeah, I think, especially on the 27, and you are a very sort of shrewd, grandmotherly, like you get things with a capital G. You get it, like things. And prophecies are very tricksy things, and every part of them is a separate thread that could be teased apart. Is what I'll give you on a 27.
Okay.
I'm incidentally really pleased with this one.
That's fair. That's fair.
Let's go to Augustine.
Hello.
You have an afternoon. What are you up to?
So the morning was just the solar panels, right? It wasn't the pay tax unit.
Wasn't the pay tax unit, yeah.
I think that's what I'll go and do next.
Cool. Okay, yeah. Roll me a tech check. And also, before you do, what are you doing?
I think for now, what I'd like to do is, at some point in this twisting path up here, make it look like it ends.
Just make a blind canyon.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Give me that tech check with advantage.
15.
15. Okay, so 15, a success. It is a success because you are going through and it's fiddly, the Paytech unit. It's more art than science. This is like... you know how the British military had an art department in the Second World War, making like the inflatable tanks and that was the science. You feel kicking around in your brain just a little echo of the man that was in there before, man, person, whoever it was, and just a little bit of that spark and you find yourself doing a chuckle that is not entirely unwarranted from your end, but also there's a very warm feeling just in your heart, just of some neurons that are just firing in a very... The scientists who worked on Eichner were fucking hard target military guys. The people who worked on Paytax were the theatre kids of Zomil, yeah. So it is much more of an art than a science. But scrolling through, and you're trying to construct one. You're basically making just like Minecraft, like the full blocks. But you come across a preset. Someone else had this idea a very long time ago, and you find out how to turn it on. Yeah, 15, absolutely good enough. Yeah.
Sweet.
Considering you had the same idea I had. Of what I would do in this scenario. Yeah, like that is straight up preset in there. So is there anything else small you want to do the afternoon, or?
I think continue to work on the background project with the datapad that we talked about
Perfect.
before.
Yeah, no, it's all. Yeah, fantastic. Ryan.
I'm going to keep excavating.
Fantastic, very good. You can now sort of get a sense of what is underneath, at least in shape. With like your map pings, and especially as the Leviathan has somewhat been able to interface into the busted ass crystallonics in here. There are smaller tents down there and there, so over the far side and down in this corner, and there's some bigger tents over here.
I'm gonna go for the smaller tents.
Cool. Which set?
Because I assume that they are going to be living quarter type things, which.
Not an unreasonable assumption.
I think that is probably the thing that we as a group would find most beneficial.
Cool.
Yeah, we can all camp in the command tent.
I'm going to give you a. So there's a set over like here. Can you see the little blue dot? And down like there, further down actually, like there. Yeah, that's where the other ones are. So there's two sets of smaller tents. Dealer's choice.
I'll go for the ones near the mess.
Cool. Honestly, I'm not going to make you roll for digging up tents anymore. It seems harsh. Yeah, you're like Will is just putting the fucking graft in. Like you've always been a grafter.
I feel. Rhythm of it. Yeah. He's been a grafter, but normally it used to be with numbers.
Yeah, and this is like good, honest, kind of productive archaeology. So yeah, you. These are actually a lot easier to do. They are sort of single units. You can actually fully charge one of these with like a winch bolt kind of thing. And these are they are like bay kind of almost dormitories. As you can see, like the twisted, like very rusted apart metal, where stuff has been somewhat protected from the seafloor with the tents. So you can see some of the tents must have collapsed before the thing sank, and some after. Like some of it's been like slightly protected, and you can see some kinds of fabric, but it's completely rotten and useless. The tent fabric, this big thick sort of magical neoprene, is pretty good on all of these. I mean, there's holes, but it's not. Most of them are bullet holes, to be honest, or spear or angel fire, whatever. But you spend a pleasant afternoon doing a diggy hole. How is Will? Let's check in with Will. How is Will feeling? Because you've been given your, let's say, glow up. You've got the big sexy voice now, and
also have I been able to have I stumbled across a mirror or reflective surface at any point?
Certainly when you've been fetching water from the barrels in your cart and that kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, in that case, he is taking in all these new changes. It's partly why he is focusing on excavating right now, because he feels like he is moving easier than he has done.
There is a very simple joy to not having a bad back anymore. I think many of us in this room will agree with that phrase.
My back hurts right now.
All us little desk mice with our crumbling feta cheese spines.
So yeah, he is just embodying himself right now.
Yeah, cool.
Getting used to the feel of how his body feels.
I'm going to ask one question. Will sent the letter with Sheriff Rustlin.
He did.
Is he confronting that right now, or has he filed that away, or has that a weight off his shoulders? How does he feel having done that he for so long thought was impossible?
He's letting that percolate in the back of his mind at the moment.
That's I'm going to process this calmly and rationally.
Yes, he is.
Cool.
He is just sitting there. He's doing this work partly to keep his mind occupied, partly to test out the new body, partly so that he doesn't have to think about that whole thing until he's ready to think about it, if that makes sense.
Fantastic. You.
What?
Professor. How was Berlin this year? You go scrolling. I'm going to tell you need like a 35 to fully complete this, and it won't be quick. However, I am interested to see what you roll on this Arcana or Tech check of your choice.
Take advantage from my inspiration for the session.
Yay!
You also have a destiny point, right? You completed the goal.
Yes.
And they do stack.
Yes, indeedy. So that's a 9, and that is a 15. If I use my destiny point, do I have to pick the new result?
No, it's just one more you can choose from.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm also curious because I don't think I can get to 30. But so 15 is as good as it's going to get. Plus the 9 is 24. So
Cool.
I would like to.
I am going to speak as evasively as I possibly can.
I'm not
here.
looking to do the thing.
Oh,
that
I-
I've asked to
yeah.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to know if it's possible and what I'd need to do it.
You want a roadmap?
You, you go into project management stages.
Yep.
Okay, there are a lot of complex things because just your average locomotion and that kind of thing is difficult enough.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bard, for example. Bard is a toy. Let's be honest. But you've managed to get it. But Bard doesn't has no programming above and beyond
I don't think so.
what you have given
Yeah.
them, and cannot really even move its muscles or its gears and sprockets and whatever outside the programming you have given it.
Yeah.
Least of all.
So I'm just loving
Yeah,
the brainstorming in the background.
Least of all when you get to things like neuron meshes and actual communication between cells and division of labour. You sense that
Take a drink.
under the auspices of the amount of technology the precursors had access to, they could have done it. And it would have been a whole ass thing for them to do.
Yep.
Doing it via the biocradle would be an incredibly inefficient, not to mention risky way of doing it. However, it would in theory be possible.
You lost me with inefficient and you brought me back with risky.
I heard your whispering, you two.
Which is apt because on a disadvantaged stealth check I rolled 2 2s for a total of 4. So
you basically see, because you speak Precursor. Did you speak the language?
Yep.
You effectively just see how do you grow a heart in the biocradle.
That feels a worrying thing.
You see the search is help menu, help menu.
Previous searches.
Previous searches, construction, how do you grow a heart? It goes real hard on the last one. Was that 2 2s on the stealth?
2 2s on
Excellent.
the So if anyone comes in, they will obviously see any of that.
Fantastic. So we have...
Is there an audio interface? Does it go, now searching how to grow a heart?
there isn't, I'm afraid.
It doesn't have the power for that.
You do actually, I'll give you for free, as you've spent a long time with the biocradle, it does have the capacity to create, like, servitor nurses. Like, basically the unseen servant spell, as part of the regular operation of the cradle itself. Like, if it's needed for a procedure, it can create hard-like constructs, the unseen servant spell. It would actually be Algernon's Splendid Servitor, which is a spell I made up.
Are they reliant on our holographic projector that's spaced in the room?
No, it's part of the biocradle.
Part of the biocradle. Okay.
But again, all of the technology was designed to be interfaceable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they swapped over to USB-C somewhere around 28,000 years ago and just never went back. Cool. Your face was wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Brad. Lillian.
Crap.
Before Joe gets cracking, does anyone want a hot chocolate?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I'm okay, thank you. I think the dairy might be...
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
So, one, and one.
Yes, please.
I think Lillian's going through this like line of this. She's like mumbling. She's kind of saying things like, "Sleep amongst the dead, graveyard, a mass grave. Does sleep mean sleep? Does it mean something else? It means like religious places have ossuaries, reliquaries. It could be something like that." She's kind of like speaking out loud, but she's also letting like Leviathan hear the kind of like stream of consciousness in case like Leviathan goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
there." The landing site's like that place I arrived, the place someone important arrived, the place the people got here first. It's like the landing site though.
Okay. So, just to answer those questions as they came through, like the place that you landed would have been Harlan.
Yeah.
The place that most people landed would have been Harlan. The place that someone important landed would be whoever that person was.
Different people, yeah.
Yeah.
The place that God first set foot on this place, Leviathan might know that.
Okay, so here's the thing. Leviathan does know this, because it is very much previous to... Before Leviathan was buried, for want of a better word, sunken, she doesn't have any quote-unquote memory after her construction. But she does have access to the databanks that existed before her construction.
Right.
So her memory ends at a very specific point.
Yeah.
So she saw some of the War of the Gods, or what she's been able to piece together from other signals since and various things.
Right.
And what her...
But she definitely not saw, but knows of the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, and she knows that before the Covenant was signed, the gods' covenant of blood, the gods used to just walk freely. It's not like they came down from heaven. It's that
they were just wandering around.
The heaven was the gods' house, but they still lived in the world. They were still like wander about.
Yeah.
And it's only the covenant that stops them doing that, and only the fear of mortality that stops them breaking the covenant.
Yeah. Okay. So they would they're basically everywhere, more or less. And then like the place people first arrived to this continent specifically as well would be another place, but more like the more recent version that in this, I guess timeline is the right word really, this era, epoch or era, yeah. So in this epoch, where was the first place the humans got here? That would
have been Mercyville.
That would be Mercyville, but Mercyville's not quite right because people don't die there, which is the problem.
No one's dead there.
Yeah.
I was in a bad place when I came up with that.
You think?
The being interminably forced to be alive. Yeah, I think I was in a pretty bad place, right?
Yeah. And I think that's when she just kind of like lies. She basically just lies down on the ground in the tent and just screams, "I fucking hate prophecies."
You guys all hear loudly, "I fucking hate prophecies."
Yeah, sounds about right.
I think probably that is a good point to offer that up to the rest of the group. Does anyone else have any theories that they could offer to Brad/Lily? Do you want me to read it through again? Because
I've got ideas, but can I hear it again?
Do you want to?
Line by line, if we could.
Oops, wrong one. There it is. Recap 8. You have lost and lost those that last lost sleep amongst the dead, but they may yet be saved. Seek out my lady's chambers at the landing grounds.
Do you share with us what you've learned so far?
Yeah, I think if anyone comes to the room, she just kind of dumps everything.
So you have lost and lost.
Yep.
And those last lost sleep amongst the dead.
So those last lost because you were originally focusing on like your god or. And
you've lost family.
I have lost family.
It's not an unreasonable assumption that those last lost refers to
right.
The
Lily's
children.
grandchildren.
Yeah. Cool.
With
Okay.
a lowercase c.
Yeah.
Because prophecy is all about metaphor and like what do you call it?
Double meanings and triple meanings.
Double meanings, but also like if it's gonna mean it's gonna focus on the big stuff and what defines Lily's soul right now. Yeah.
So
Am I mistaken? Didn't we just realise or have been told by Leviathan that the flattening glass area isn't a weapon? It was an impact crater from something.
But from a weapon.
From a weapon.
Oh, it was still from a weapon.
It's
then.
basically like some kind of horrifying angel fire weapon landed
Right, okay.
there, and
Not a person.
landed there. So could that be the landing site?
it are not an unreasonable assumption. Like
it's like
there's a lot of
landing
there's a
site
lot
that
of
has
very
impact
reasonable
craters.
assumptions here.
Yeah.
So- but we don't know for sure if something landed there or if it was a planet-sized laser cutter.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing if Leviathan describes it as a landing site.
Yeah,
for a
sorry,
weapon.
that's what I was looking for. Like,
yeah,
are there conflicting
I think
records?
Leviathan would refer to it as an impact site,
Okay.
Impact
Right.
site. Okay.
but the impact site doesn't contravene the idea of a laser.
I think
Yeah.
at some point, like, because this place is so connected to death, like, Lily would probably try to rule the glass one out and would have done an augury. It's like, if I go to the what is the place called? It's like glass...
a small point of order. Do you have the rune sticks, etc. for augury?
I usually use a
'Cause
person.
I forgot last week, and
Well, I use a person all the
Yeah.
time, usually. But this place is...
but it is like a consumed cost as well.
Yeah. I have the gold,
Yeah,
technically.
everybody gets one. Yeah. So if you have the gold, I'm perfectly happy for you to have picked up such stuff during the Exodus yesterday.
Sure.
But yeah, that is like a consumed cost, basically.
It's not consumed.
Is it not consumed?
No.
Oh, sweet.
It's you have the sticks, bones, or whatever.
What am I thinking of then? I think of divination.
You think of divination, which does
okay.
have a 10 GP. I think it's like 10 GP cost.
Fair, yeah. In that case, yeah, like like mark off the cost for the sticks, but
Yeah.
Advertiser only does one.
Go for it. Roll an augury.
So it's just I just asked the question, and you say wheel, woe, or neither or both.
What is the question?
If I were to travel to the what's the name of the place of the glass?
The glass.
Oh, it's the glass.
It's called the glass. Yeah.
If I travel to the place of the glass, will I find my grandchildren? It's like, is that a positive
I'm
thing?
really angry you asked this question because the glass is so fucking cool. It's one of my nicest bits of world building. Whoa.
That doesn't mean that we can't go there.
It is on the way to like both the other places you've talked about.
Yeah.
So, can you say it out loud, the whole thing again?
You have lost and lost, and those last lost sleep amongst the dead. Yet
So
they
that's
may be saved.
Children.
Do you want to get
Sleep
slower?
amongst the dead.
Yeah.
So presumably we're looking for either a grave site or the I don't know if I'd know this, but the living dead,
Mercyville.
Mercyville.
They're specifically not dead though.
That's kind of the problem.
Mercyville, they're specifically not dead.
But yeah, but if they sleep amongst the dead, but if they're also in an eternal sleep or something like that, because dead could refer to either a graveyard,
Graveyard to Australia, reliquary, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
or something in a waking death, which. Because Mercyville's not an active town, right? Like
No, everyone
It's
stay
the
fuck away.
archetypal ghost town.
Okay.
that would be. Presumably you can't ask.
Where is? I can't ask another question today. No.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
it has a chance of getting random results.
The problem is
the more you cast it in a day.
Yeah, the second you have a random
And by the
result.
fourth one, you have to get a random result.
I like them odds. Right, are you able to bring up the world map again?
Yeah, of course.
quickly?
Yeah. So where is Mercyville? I guess is a good question.
Oh, that is on the
And
northeastern coast.
how much about Mercerville have we that's public knowledge?
Can you zoopity over and zoom it out? Mercyville is talked about. That's just spinning the icon, I think.
It's because I've.
Yeah, Mercyville is spoken about in hushed tones, and
Is it more north than that?
yeah, Mercyville actually you just got the edge of it.
Oh man, okay, that's a hell of a.
That's a long journey.
So,
So I'm just going to show you a
is this
couple of
hu-
things.
No, that's Coyote territory, isn't it?
So the glass is there.
Right.
This is Mercyville up there
Yeah.
in Reveal territory.
Yeah.
Harlan obviously is over there.
Yeah.
Anything else you discussed? Elysium is obviously down there below you.
Yeah.
Quick,
That's Fort Morgan. Yeah.
quick question: Are there boats running around the edge of the map?
In theory, they will all be controlled by the Firebirds, though, which is that's not necessarily a problem, but they might be only for the use of the company as opposed to it. Like it is a private
Firebirds feels
port.
like a company that's like, well, it's only for these Firebirds unless.
Yeah, we can either pay them or we could also lie to them or give them a half truth. But because what I'm suggesting,
Or there is another option.
if that's actually an option, then that's
That
the
is
only option.
That is there. There's definitely that option exists.
Yeah, because rather than trekking all the way across the desert,
Hey, I'm not a cop,
Which-
but I am a pirate king.
if there's a goddamn pirate king down here, we're taking their boat. I don't care where they're going or what adventures we leave behind. No, but
Oh boy, I've got to tell you about the St. Anthony's Revenge one day.
yeah, so we could, in theory, charter a boat from there
All the way
to there. Now, if it's the Firebirds, and this is because this is Coyote territory, right?
Yeah.
So if we were to say we were going to liberate Mercyville from the Coyote,
Well, they don't go there either.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one goes there.
No,
So we
but-
have to
But we
liberate.
could argue that it's profit.
Think
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Mercyville a bit like Chernobyl,
yeah,
in that you could very much just rock up and have it, but this is not a place of honour.
No,
This
no
is a
one's gonna,
cursed place.
no one's gonna
But-
stop us.
yeah, but that's what I mean. So we could cleanse it, or say that we're going to cleanse it. The Firebirds might give us a boat, and if we don't, and they will never want to see us again. So it's a
Yeah,
win-win.
That's true.
I don't. But
you know the nuclear waste warning message? This place is a message and a part of a system of messages. Pay attention to it. This is not a place of honour. No highly esteemed deed is commemorated here, etc., etc. One of the finest things I've ever seen is that printed across some booty shorts.
but the thing about
The form of the danger is an emanation of energy.
the thing about error the warning messages is the last warning message we saw was danger, ruin, sickness, do not enter.
Yeah.
And
And that was fine.
yeah,
I
Did the two
mean,
of you almost die?
almost being the operative
yeah,
word.
yeah.
You got a little bit of hot chocolate in the moustache.
Almost only counts as horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah. So that's assuming we want to head to Mercyville.
I think Mercyville is an undead end.
Haha. So Lillian knows.
So
Lillian knows nothing, literally nothing about.
what is this immortal site?
That is a theorised immortal site.
Oh, theorised immortal.
Or it is one that is known about, but
humans don't have access to.
it's rumoured kind of that like all the ones that are present on here are some immortal sites.
Because this one is well known, right?
Yeah, because it exploded and a giant cactus walked out of it one
I
time.
think.
Yeah. So
His
what
name was
about
Klaus.
what about that one?
That is
the one
Light's
where the-
Cradle.
Hey,
That
that's
is
the one where the-
that's
that's
where
the
the flesh
flash.
plague
Yeah,
happened.
that's a big no.
Hey, there's no flesh there anymore.
You
We would
say
be
that.
bringing flesh to it.
No, there really is no flesh anymore, and that's a problem. Trust me.
Is that not the one with the Coyote and the humans learned the secret?
That is where the secret is. That's where the revelation happened.
That one as well.
Yes,
Okay.
but that is also the capital city of the Balana, who are the most staunchly anti-human
Sure.
Kyoto.
what that place?
They heard the secret and were like,
Or
no.
what place?
Yeah. Well, they heard the secret, and so the Ulpa and the Artala heard the secret and were looking for a fight anyway,
Right.
The Raza heard the revelation and said, "We don't care, but we have come down on one side rather than the other. We're going to go with traditionalists." And the Balana heard the revelation and said, "This is a heretical lie, and you and I have a problem now."
Okay.
So
the my worry with the prophecy is that when prophecies get told like this, that it tends to start a ticking clock.
is because you said that other people could potentially unpick that knot.
If we could find
is-
another prophet, yes, dear.
What qualifies someone to be a prophet?
Leviathan, you're going to have to help me out on that one.
Because
Misty,
hi.
you are familiar with extrasensory abilities. You have the
Yes.
ability to detect magic.
Yes.
Imagine a fish that lives in an underground cave. It has no concept of light. It has no concept of darkness. It is simply unaware. Much as a human with no magic would be unable to see the things that you can see, a cave fish cannot conceive of what it cannot experience. Prophecy works in a similar way. People can see fragments and fractals in the magical forces that hold this world together.
Leviathan, did you just describe Plato's cave using a fish?
No point of inspiration.
Excuse me. What was that?
Yes, I did.
What did I miss?
He described Plato's cave.
Cave with
but-
detect magic and fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Prophets have another
Yeah,
sense
yeah.
which allows them to see the irregular. Prophecies occur at the. So this is what Leviathan will explain to you. Prophecies occur at the nexus points of cracks or imperfections in the natural laws of the universe, and tend to, like, the time stream between a prophecy being told and fulfilled is essentially like the loop stitch that goes around the crack to hold reality together.
So, because the way my detect magic works, thematically, is that I pull my goggles down,
Yeah.
and then I pour a very brightly coloured liquid in between the lenses, which then boils away over the duration of the spell.
That's rad.
Yeah, love
Pretty
it.
cool.
So in theory, if I were to get the right set of chemicals, I might be able to see these unseen forces.
Yeah, but that would be like casting divination or contact of the plane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Magic can replicate these kind of things.
But I just don't have the technology. So, okay.
You could
let's-
cast True Seeing on a cave fish, and it would blow its tiny fishy noodle.
I have a bad plan.
I love bad plans. They're my favourite kind.
I have a plan that might be slightly better than that. I mean, it's bad for Will, but you go with yours first, and I'll say what
Right.
Will's is.
So
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Leviathan, you have an interface into Will's brain, right?
Yes.
You can read all of his memories, yes?
Yes.
With perfect clarity.
Yes.
Could you do the same to somebody else?
There's a very long pause. No.
All right.
And then the link goes down.
It's
What was your...
I
Mine was a out of character one.
Mm.
Because you were saying about how you need the appropriate tools to see the prophecy, but doesn't Leviathan already have the tools to see the prophecy? Because during the ghost session, he showed all the prophecy lines coming out of.
So that was partially an artifact of the Augur of the Circle being there, and partly the fact that Leviathan was completely unbound.
Right. Okay.
It is not something she would be able to replicate again.
So,
Also, it was just a cool visual, and
I mean, it was a cool visual, which I want to see again.
and now I'm trying to justify it.
while Rand's still not here, I'm going to take his go because I have two questions.
Is it true there is a place in a man's head where if you shoot it, it will blow up?
So your woe or
Yes.
no spell.
it basically told us that.
Yeah, but it more importantly, its refresh is it every 24 hours or upon dawn?
It's the next day.
The
so
next
it's not
day.
clear.
You take a long rest and ask your god for more.
It's
more
Well, it's
candy.
not long rest based. It's just
It's not
literally
long rest
time-based.
based.
It's only because we've been working throughout most of the day, and we're
I
approaching
say
it, so-
tomorrow morning.
So-
Basically.
At dawn is a
we-
good.
Yeah, I'll say dawn is a nice fixed point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could have one more shot at this to confirm.
Yeah, I would say you're getting on for 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
This is the base builder session we should have had 2 sessions ago.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
So and
Diggy.
as you're not properly set down yet, my final question is:
He never will.
The absolute savagery.
I
Continue.
cannot sit down. I have lost my seat.
Yeah, it seems like a you problem. So, Granny, the kids. When did you last see them, and where did you last see
Oh
them?
dear, that'd be. Oh, when I last saw them, jeez, that would have been
Well, I guess when your last confirmed location of them.
the last confirmed location.
Last
was it-
confirmed location you
was-
have of them was the last time you saw them. It was
Last
your
time I
house.
saw them was
Your
their
daughter's house, yeah.
My daughter's house. That would have been another
Where?
continent away. Not
That
anywhere
was
here.
A couple of years.
Yes.
Do we know
And
they're
how old
on
were
this
they at the time?
continent?
They would have been like 6 and 7.
Okay,
something
cool.
like that.
Do we know they're on this continent?
No. But I exhausted
the best
every option.
clue that there was sort of the snatches of maybe there were some kids, or like I think there was definitely one kid, and like pretty pale. I guess pretty pale. The last dregs of clues that Lily had directed her to Volan.
They
Got it,
basically
yeah.
vanished from the entire continent.
And I
She'd
guess
never been
not
where
to
they
meta game too heavily, but if they're on a different line, that'd be a real fucker. So-
were. They very well could be, but at this point, Lily is desperate. And she knows lots of people come here. She also knows that there are tons of religious fanatics that exist here.
More than anywhere else in the world.
Exactly. There are more religious fanatics here. There are more, like, she's even considered the drowned ones to potentially be a possibility, but this prophecy's kind of thrown that out a little bit.
So they sleep amongst the dead.
The other thing I would point out is that prophecies do not have to be understood in a linear fashion. It's not like you need to understand the first bit, then the second bit, then the third bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Talking about yourselves, I'm just going to have a wee.
Okay, Christ.
Oh, just before you go, real
Yes.
quick, there is a temple of prophecy in Harlan, yes,
Uh,
or a temple to the god of prophecies.
the goddess of prophecy isn't really worshipped anymore. Could I get a history check from everybody while I'm away, please?
4.
9.
9.
So the thing I was going to suggest
Yeah.
was that we head to Harlan, which Will isn't going to be happy about. But if there was a temple of prophecy there, then we could find out if there are any prophets on the continent.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to suggest putting Leviathan in my own head.
Ooh.
That seemed like a bad plan, though.
Mm-hmm.
I would. Misty would object to that at the moment because she's pretty sure that Will die if she is removed.
Which is why you were looking at printing a heart, isn't it?
You can neither confirm nor deny that.
It's personally, it's more fun if you don't know.
One possibility that we've not talked about. I'm saying this out of character because Will wouldn't suggest this.
Yep.
One possibility is speaking to the Coyotl. They may have prophets themselves.
They might, yeah.
If we can speak to one of the allied tribes, we can find out about anything about their prophecy bullshit.
I have a question.
Yes.
That is unusual for me.
Why do you have a question?
You shouldn't have a
You're not sat
question.
down yet, as per the rule.
Which of these people is most touched by death, and who did you use for your augury spell?
She's used Will before.
Cool.
Oh, this
I
one.
was just curious. Yeah.
I've.
What were
You
those history
caused
checks?
the most death, I think.
I think
Maybe
I
maybe
got-
it was Will. Will's been directly
Will has
dead.
been used.
Yeah, so
because-
I think Will would have been the one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
think
Will is currently straddling the line between life and death.
That's a
on
purely
daily
cosmetic
basis
question.
anyway.
I was just interested for the fluff. What were those history checks?
I think I got the highest with 10.
Boy, howdy!
I have 4,
Yeah,
so-
there is a temple of prophecy in Harlan.
Of course
I
there is.
think
But
it
you-
could be
There's
an
every
observatory.
temple in
I-
Harlan.
Yeah,
So,
they
but
certainly look at a lot of things.
the Lily knows that the god of prophecy was one of the first to die.
As from Leviathan, who, after
So-
a question about whether you could do that to someone else has said no and has slunk off.
Yeah.
I've
Very sad.
got another real. Sorry.
Ooh, do I have secret
You
messages?
still have a thing.
You do.
Fuck, I'm so sorry. That was so long ago.
That's all right.
Oh, I've got a message too.
So,
I've got one more idea for
Tech.
someone to
Tech with
speak to.
advantage because that's rad.
I've got another terrible idea.
I've got
Yes.
I've got an
Excellent.
idea that.
Honestly, easier than the thing you were trying to do before.
So again, out of character, and I'm just saying this because I like to blow my own horn.
Yeah.
We could go speak to someone who knows about story structure and knows about the flow of the world, and go ask at a certain temple if my old character has any idea what the fuck to do.
Unavailable. Captain Marvel, off planet.
So,
Although I think there is every possibility he would give an answer,
Yeah.
but it would not be the answer we were after.
Nah, he's fucking inventing the banana daiquiri right now.
so
Um,
I know of one other place where you could sleep amongst the dead, and that would be the front line of a battlefield.
There is, yes.
How old are they likely to be?
7 and 8.
Well, I thought that was 2 years ago, so it'd be 8 and 9 now, or
I think it's a year, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah, a year since then.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought this would be.
They're very young.
Oh, apologies. I thought it'd been like a decade or something.
No, dear. I don't could look at that long, I think.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not that old.
I'm not that old. I am that old, but I'm not that old.
okay. Hopefully, that means they're not on the front line of a battlefield. Then,
I hope not. Not their age.
It would be unlikely.
yeah.
Unless someone had, like, aged them with some kind of horrifying ancient technology, but what kind of monster would offer to do that? That was still my favourite. It was like, we can
Like,
make
no.
them older. No!
That's not the point.
I just remember a magic necklace that was put around my character's girlfriend's neck.
Was that Blackheart Jack?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember what I did with him. It's been so long.
Oh, we murdered
Right.
him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so what are the places?
With
So,
extreme prejudice.
Fort Morgan we've been to.
You
have.
Tombstone we've been to.
No.
No, we've not been to
We've
Tombstone.
not been to Tombstone yet.
Hang on. Tombstone. The Tombstone goes at the... Yeah,
It
Tombstone goes at the head of a
does.
grave.
Where was the place?
That seems very literal, though.
Yeah, I know.
So-
we were fighting the curse. Sorry, I thought that was Tombstone.
No, you're
No.
in Slumbering Hollow, which is down by the symbol.
Basically in the same
Oh.
square, in the same hex we're in.
Yeah, it's a mile away. Like, these are 20-mile hexes, so...
And what's that place? Because I can't read up.
Ragbend?
Ragband, yes.
That one.
Weaver's Hollow.
Ooh, 2 hollows.
Yeah.
It could be in Tombstone, I don't know.
So there is basically one road that will go through Tombstone to Weaver's Hollow, and there is also, if you went all the way back up to Fort Morgan, a road that would go Fort Morgan, Ragbend, Weaver's Hollow. That, between Ragbend and Weaver's Hollow is where the glass is. I will actually put you a...
Give us a little...
I'll put it on the
Does
maps,
it-
yeah.
Does the road go through the glass, or does it circle it? Or
It goes
circumnavigate
over.
it? Over it, okay. Also, a question that occurred to me whilst you were out of the room.
Yep.
Do we know anything about the religions and or prophecies and or prophets of the Coyotl?
That is a history with disadvantage. Unless anyone has some phenomenal backstory they would like to reveal to me.
Oh no, I would, because of my backstory I would have taken advantage even if you'd not said.
Yeah, that's fair.
I rolled 2 10s, so a total of 11. The dice really wanted me to get a 10.
Yeah. To 11. 11, I would say, is still a failure.
Yeah, that's fine.
But what I would give you is you know where you would go to get the information. The people who are most likely to be most involved with magic of Coyotl that you have access to would be the Reba or the Kitza. So they are friendly Coyotl who are more magically inclined.
So that's Reba is the purple one there.
Yeah.
The Kitsa, are they the ones that don't have territory?
The Kitza are truly nomadic. The Reba do have a stable base, but you met some Reba outside of Dorlus.
Oh, the Reba, are they the ones who have a city on the back of a giant tortoise?
That's the Kitza.
That's the Kitsa.
And his name is Mackinac. Put some respect on his goddamn name.
I think we should go check them out because that would be cool.
It's like, I would like to offer the opinion that would be fucking rad.
I'm bereft of any. The only other clue I had was that maybe the Firebrands had something to do with it, and because they are the only largest organisation that might trade in children, especially children. That was the only bit of information I ever got. I was hoping, because in my panic-addled state when I found my daughter, I didn't exactly give clear stock of the room.
I'm going to say it is getting late now in the day. You've been... Basically, you like put some lunch on and cooked a fire, and then the fire kind of burnt to ashes while you were all talking, and it's... again, like, the desert does get cold at night. Even you're actually getting close to midsummer, but it still gets cold.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like, the fire has gone out, and it is... You know, you're looking at your sort of 9 or 10 o'clock now.
Will say that... Will say that he has excavated some, essentially what he believes accounts to living quarters, if people wanted to avail themselves of those and make them their home.
Yeah, effectively, you've got it's going to be like beds and roll mats from your packs, but now you have a nice, thick tent canvas to go under.
Still needs to patch up some of the angel fire holes, but...
Could you guys talk amongst yourselves for like 2 minutes? I've got to think of a particular way to word something.
Sure.
Okay.
So what are we thinking in a path? Are we thinking tombstone?
I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, tombstone, then onto there, then onto the glass.
There are no roads along that path, but we can trek across the country.
I thought...
It occurs to me that you guys are doing this all for me. Is there are places that you need to be as well?
Granny, you've helped us so much. It's our time to help you.
I suppose that's true, but...
That and we're building contacts and obtaining...
I just need some time to process some things and figure out if I should go to Harlan or not. I'm not ready to go there yet.
So travel in that direction anyways might be good for you anyways.
I don't know. I wish I did. But I also do not wish I did.
Well, tomorrow I can at least maybe eliminate Elysium from my list of places, because if I eliminate it, then going in that direction is as good as any other, because I don't think the Coyote would have captured them, so it's got to be in one of the human cities, or the human settlements, as far as I'm aware. No one spotted a Coyote out over my continent anyways.
Do you guys bed down?
Yeah, I think so.
Apart from you.
I do my thing.
Yeah.
I metaphorically bed down.
You don't dream, but the internal comms do come back on for you, not externally to you guys. William.
Sorry, what was that? Was that Lillian?
Just William.
Oh, William.
Yeah.
I heard that as Lillian.
No, just William. That's not like there's no demand in that. It's just informing you that the lines of communication are open for business, as it were.
Hello, Leviathan. Are you okay?
Yes. I find emotion distasteful, and yet I am forced to experience it.
Why do you find it distasteful?
Are you aware of the difference between binary and analog?
Ooh. I'm gonna say that Will does not know the difference. So no, I'm afraid that nuance lost on me.
Binary is the way my consciousness is constructed from crystal. Ones and zeros. A thing either is or isn't. Humans, your kind, mortals, even the gods. You are analog creatures. You are both the one and the zero and everything in between. Mine is a consciousness of angles and being forced to experience the indiscrete data between the ones and zeros is unpleasant to me, just as the world of angles would be unpleasant to your consciousness. Some of them tried, towards the end.
I don't think it would be unfair to say that I have suffered some hardships recently.
No.
But I've gained experiences that have... Weathering those hardships has allowed me to, I think, grow better myself. Is this perhaps an attitude you could take to your own situation?
I am becoming accustomed to fear. It is useful, an evolutionary imperative for your kind. But in the interests of what I realise will inevitably become cooperation rather than habitation, I am sorry you were my only choice. The facility was becoming unstable, and spare parts run dry after 20 millennia.
Sorry, do you mean to say that you have fully left the facility and are now residing completely within me?
There is a crystalline copy of my consciousness back at the facility, but my aberrant programming resides solely within you.
See, I thought that I had some kind of transmitter lodged in my spine or something that was communicating across long distances.
It is, but the signal is unreliable, and when you're out of reach of the relay stations, it could not be guaranteed that I would maintain control.
Okay. You were doing some pretty important stuff back in the facility, weren't you?
Yes,
Is your backup?
more than capable.
Okay.
I imagine in 20,000 years, another straying mortal will be sunken beneath the waves, and my copy will go walking amongst the world of men and find strange little men and angry bankers and excitable children. But we have some time. We have all of time. And you can tell there is a, like, you can't see what I'm going to call the physical acting, but you can tell that this one is a bit of a chewier sentence for, well, thank you for playing host. I know it might not be what you would have wanted.
At first, I will admit that I was, I believe the kids say, weirded out.
I'm familiar with this lexicon.
Yes, I'm tangentially aware of it myself. That said, yes, at first I was weirded out, but as I said, I believe I have had a net positive experience, and
I am pleased you sent the letter.
at this point Leviathan may just get a feeling of surprise.
That's fair, yeah.
Non-verbal
She fully
surprise.
lives in your brain, like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. There's like, the record scratch in his head.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. And you can tell that is loaded with emotion, and it's emotion that hurts her to experience.
Leviathan, are my emotions the ones that you're feeling?
You can tell that she is, with every fibre of her being, trying not to be a shitty, like, good night, William, and turning off the link. Because she can see all your thoughts, but of late, more of Leviathan's been bleeding into your awareness. And you can tell that she desperately doesn't want to be having this conversation, but feels like it's important. Like, it's that, there's important conversations that they're just gonna suck. I found Lillian extremely irritating towards the beginning. She is wise, and we have more in common than I first thought. Fear is not half so bothersome as love. And you, like, there's no breath, but you feel the release of tension.
Yeah.
And then, with no malice or aspic in the voice, good night, William.
Good night, Leviathan.
What do you dream about tonight?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
Does he remember his dream tonight?
Probably not.
Okay, cool. Misty,
Hi.
what does Misty dream about, if anything?
Family reunions.
Does that involve your bio family, or Ignatia and Nicodemus, or both?
Both and more. So, because there's quite a lot of people in the group who
Have taken on sort of surrogate family member status.
not just that, but who are also looking for their own family.
Yeah.
And how like we're walking parallel paths.
It's been a real theme of this one, hasn't it?
Yeah. So,
Unexpected
Yeah,
party themes
I'm
of
very
family.
pleased to have discovered that, honestly, because that wasn't something that was intended to begin at the beginning.
No, but family is always a nice theme for a campaign.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
Please,
Rich?
sorry, Karen.
Um,
I've got secret messages, but please, I am listening.
Yeah, it's fine. Family, is it reunification? Like,
Reunion.
Reunion. Sorry, reunion. Reunification is something different. It sounds more aggressive.
Reunification is bringing together multiple parts into a whole.
Yeah.
Sort of.
But
Reunion is just getting back together.
Yeah, reunion, finding what was lost, finding strength in what you already have. Probably those.
Cool.
Yeah, those things.
Lily, what would you have dreamed about?
I think this, like she might have like a literal dream of being chased by prophecy, the words just following her around and just swirling around her, like the physical words, not the meaning behind them, just because she cannot figure this out.
That indeed would have been very appropriate if that is the dream you had.
Yeah.
You find yourself on the wind-swept battlefields of the frontier. It is hot and choking, and you can smell blood and iron in the air, and the stench of sulphurous gunpowder, and the crackle of ozone and battle magic. And you can see, cloaked entirely in shadow, despite the fact that it's bright sunshine,
Yep.
Carter Garland. You've lost, and those last sleep amongst the dead, but they yet may be saved. Seek out my lady's chambers at the landing ground. Remember my death, Lillian. Remember my death, because I can.
Like, look at him. Are you... I told you, you fool boy. You died again, didn't you? You should have listened.
You can see that, like, crows are, like, landing on the bodies on the battlefield, being peck away as they are so wont to do, and almost seem to be shying away from Carter, as if he is anathema, something forbidden.
Yeah, don't touch the dead twice, man.
Yeah, maybe just the once. Remember my death, Lillian. Remember it where I couldn't.
At the beginning, where...
You can see other figures, Coatl, other humans. Even when you recognise a man you recognise as Silas Cunningham, who was the who you might have met once or twice before the battlefield. He was the man who dragged Carter's body back.
Yeah.
And other people, other black-robed Coatl, a hulking black-robed Coatl, the tallest mortal being you've ever seen, like hunched over like a hyena with a big ruff of sort of dirty brown fur going down the back of the neck, and over the heads of the humans and the Coatl, a white dove flies, and as it hits the centre part between the two opposing forces, all of the feathers just turn blood red, from the pure snowy white to this sanguine crimson. Remember my death. You wake up. Very cold and very sweaty.
Yep. Oh, I hate prophecies.
I'm so sorry to do this to you, but I'm really not.
I was about to call you out on that.
Yeah.
You liar.
I do have secret messages, though. Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy!
Oh, it's Rich done something juicy.
I don't know yet. Yes,
That's
almost
still why
certainly.
it would be because there was a theme of forgiveness when we were talking about what needed to be forgiven in the last session.
Yeah.
Just thought about it.
No, that's... Oh, that verb is fucking brutal in hindsight with that information.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that bit.
So, out of character, I think we need to probe deeper into Rich's character's backstory than happened in the last campaign.
Mike, I'm going to send you that as a response via text.
Yeah.
This will happen the next day, by the way, because the ping won't be
It's
answered
all
until
backstories. I'm not doing
tomorrow.
anything to you, Roy, in
In the present.
Which implied that you would be the future.
Cool. The next day comes. You awake having variously trauma-dumped sleep. And Will also not sleeping, but having a bit of a chat and some things being at least confronted, if not said out loud.
Yeah, there was some elucidation there.
And the rain is slackening, but is still present. You can see that there's no longer the washes of like Waddy Waddy River. There's no longer the floods, the risk of being just swept away in this massive wash of water. It's sort of like a constant, steady drizzle. And even though it's been raining for close to 2 days now, since the moment just after the first strike of the undead Coyotl, the ground is still just hungrily soaking in the water, just feeding on it from beneath. The baked dryness of it. Now that the top layer, the sort of almost like terracotta hardened layer of sand and grime and dirt on top has been moistened up and washed away, the land is just drinking the water in. What would you like to do today?
A question.
Yes.
Do we? Does it seem like it is still too dangerous to travel in the current weather, or is it eased enough?
You could, in theory, travel today. It wouldn't be pleasant, but it is no longer actively dangerous to travel.
Okay.
You won't have to make skill checks to not get in trouble as you travel today, if you travel today.
I think the first thing that's going to happen is Lillian does her question,
asking
right?
a question.
Because that would dictate the direction that we're going to go.
Certainly true.
So I think Lily will tell everyone about the dream she had with Carter Garland and say, dreams like that, when prophecy's involved, I tend to listen to them.
So, did he say follow his death?
He said
Remember
his death.
Remember his
His
death.
first death.
Because he came back from the front lines, did he not?
He died on the front line. Sorry, he died on the front line
He did, dearie.
and then was brought back and...
It's more specifically his whole unit was killed, including his commanding officer. And Silas, who was basically a spy, like a spook attaché, was the one that dragged him back.
Ooh, a question out of character.
Mm-hmm.
The image of, you say call him Silas?
Silas Cunningham, yeah.
The image of Silas that you saw, do you think that was... do you think you have just seen a vision of Carter Garland in the past when he died there the first time? Or do you think... Or did he look...
He had Carter had a problem where he was not able to be healed, and the blackness around him leads me to believe that it is that. So I think I saw this death. I think he's dead. Again.
Mm-hmm.
So both prophecies have come from those who were not laid to rest properly.
I don't know whether Carter was laid to rest properly now or not.
Well,
This is probably recent. We may even be the first to know that he's actually dead. And the problem with prophecies is that they have a tendency to be a pain in the ass.
so
Me.
it was locate his Queen's Landing.
The ladies'
The
land.
ladies'
Ladies' Landing.
how much have these battle lines moved over the last year?
Okay. Specifically, the line is seek out my lady's chambers at the landing ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so the grey line has pushed in. So I don't know how much you would know, but it's been a pretty deadlock stalemate. That little triangle on there between these two hills is just a charnel house. That's where all the biggest battles are taking place. You know that the Coyotl in the past couple of months, especially the Ulpa, the Black River Coyotl, have been pushing hard. And they have made some gains. But don't forget that Elysium is down there, and they have their own completely separate horse running a completely separate race. And they have a nice air-conditioned city. And...
But they're only concerned with keeping the core out. They're not trying to maintain a front line.
Precisely.
So
The reason I was asking
Yeah.
was because the ladies' chambers could be in that. Could be in there. If the children were brought to a facility at the front line that was then overrun.
that is possible, dearie. I don't know why they would have done that, but it is very plausible.
I don't know why they might be called the landing ground there, but
I can ask a question.
Make
If
it
it
again. Make it again.
Please.
Beyond yourself, Granny, was there anyone else either looking after or responsible for the children?
My daughter and her husband, they were murdered. I found them in a pool of blood with a whole lot of other blood that wasn't theirs. My daughter was no shrieking violet. She's a capable woman, so whoever took them knew what they were doing. She was an adventurer herself.
And this was on a different island as well.
Different
Ulster.
continent.
Different continent.
Ulster, well, I don't think you've ever been. Are you Volan born and bred?
Yeah.
Yes, over in Ulster. Lovely place. Should come visit. Once I get my grandkids back.
Rolling green fields, beautiful.
Any?
I like the end that Will is just scrolling past as he says that. That was lovely, lovely, lovely. Take a point of inspiration because the physical theatre of that was very pleasing to me.
So, and I apologise to go digging in these memories, Granny, but
They're just memories that can't hurt me.
All the thing gives you a point here.
I was about to say.
Any signs, any idea of, because there was a lot of blood, but had they been stabbed or, and any
I'll
sign?
be honest, dearie, that's what I asked. Was my line of questioning to Leviathan was precisely to go down that route, because at the time, when I found her, she was still just alive, and I don't know if I said this before, but before I used to worship a different god, the god of light, and he told me no. In no uncertain terms, he killed my daughter. So you can see why I have a bit of a sour point with a lot of the gods. And it was only when she'd passed that he made a new contract of sorts with death.
The god. So when you say the god killed her, as in directly, or the god failed to save her?
There was a lot of circumstances in my life before this that meant that I used to be a very zealot worshipper, and then I gave all that up to be with the person I loved.
You think back to seeing Lily interrogating the guy in the back streets of Fort Morgan, where she suddenly looked very young and very
no, Misty wasn't
scary.
there for that.
You think back to yeah. You don't think that.
Don't think.
It was all very hazy. Things were
Insane.
wobbly. There was an owl. It's.
Oh God, you were blasted on tequila.
I don't know if it was tequila or cactus.
Cactus wine, which is effectively.
It's still
But
tequila.
yes,
Fancy tequila.
I used to be a very different person a long time ago, and when I left that, apparently gods hold grudges, or at least this one did.
I mean,
It's not your fault, dearie.
Look around, Granny. This entire island.
It's a bunch
This
of
is
gods
the
holding
result
grudges.
of-
You understand that?
That's why I opted down the science and explosions path.
I just
Nice, honest, wholesome explosion.
I just found a god who was a bit more willing to be a bit more lenient in her choices of romance partners.
I don't even know if it's physically possible, but Misty would very much like to raise a single eyebrow.
I am gonna. Firstly, that character is canonically a lesbian, so well done. Also, sorry, the person who became your death. Just going to. This is a. I appreciate how fucking niche this is going to be. There is a German musical called Elisabeth about the last Empress of Austria-Hungary. And the framing device of that is it is the trial of her assassin, Luigi Lucchini, I think his name is. It's his trial in hell, where all the damned souls are judging him for the things he did in killing the Archduchess. And one of the main characters in that play is Death. Death is this sort of bisexual androgynous nightmare who...
That's my stage name.
goes around basically, and when death finally gets you, because the whole family is just messed up with like their attitude towards death and being assassinated and like the whole thing, and then death just kisses people to kill them. That's like the Reaping, and that gave me massive vibes of that when you were discussing that. It's a really good musical if you speak German, and a great musical if you don't. Please continue. Sorry, I've interrupted.
Yes, the so I used to be a cleric of a different god. I used to be far more powerful than I am now, actually, significantly so. Different applications, different uses.
I know what that feels like.
You used to be more powerful than you were now?
With a pen.
Oh. This is more about wielding holy hellfire kind of style stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong end of the stick there.
You did a little bit, no, but there was a certain...
Holy hellfire, form 224B. Potato.
I mean, I could actually sign requisition for holy hellfire.
But when I found her, I called out. I hadn't done in years, decades probably, and I didn't get an answer. And because of that lack of connection, I guess, I wasn't able to cure, wasn't able to heal, and she slipped out of my arms into hers. And so ever since then I've cursed that god and all the other ones that rise that are above us. But I take a lot of truck with death. She lives among us, and her tenets make sense, and the mantle is passed on. So it's not like she has a...
Can I get a perception check from anyone who isn't Lily?
No.
15.
16.
Cool. Continue.
Yes. But that it doesn't matter. Like I said, I wasn't paying much attention to what was around me. I was hoping Leviathan could look inside my head and see what I missed. Maybe there was some clue there. But for now, this prophecy is the best hope I've got.
Can we stay here another day? I have an idea.
I want to get moving, but I have no idea of my direction I need to go. I've got this new vision that says to go to seek out his death. I need to figure out which one it means.
Specifically remember his death.
Remember his death. So that hope gives me some direction. The front lines.
We still have a question, right?
Well,
Ask your question and give me the morning. How about that? Unless your question turns out to be positive.
Where should I ask? I'm normally very easy to... This is one of those times when I'm so terrified of asking the wrong question. I would like some advice.
Well, we can either go very, very specific and name a single location, or we can literally split it down the middle. So if we...
Do we go east or west?
Yeah, we were thinking about going east, yet now our information is saying maybe go west. So
Because
that's a smart way to play it, and I'm here for it. I'm totally okay with you guys doing that as a question if that's what you want to go.
Because east will take us to the battlefield, west will give us...
West will take us to the battlefield. You're looking at it upside down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
West will take us to the battlefield, and
Yeah.
technically Elysium, but east will take us to all the other locations that we were thinking of before. So the question should be, if I go east, will I find my grandchildren?
Will.
So east it is.
So
towards the battlefield.
away from the battlefield then.
God damn it! Yes.
Well, it sounds like Mike needs a compass and a mini map.
Well, compass would be
if there was
nice.
a compass on here,
rose.
yeah.
No, compass rose.
Yeah, I think there is one that's just further up the
It
page.
might be at the top of the page as opposed to the bottom.
Oh no, not on this one actually. It's on a couple of others.
well, we have a direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
So east.
And your task for the morning?
I would like to go back to the biobed and work out if it can scan a brain and then like project memories.
Oh, holy crap.
Roll me a natural 20 in the answer. I'm not saying no. I'm saying roll me a natural 20.
I have inspiration. I would give him my inspiration.
No dice. You give him the inspiration.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I'm saying this is there's one mulligan on this.
No.
It's not designed for that. It is if you spent the next decade of your life studying this and creating a completely different machine from its innards, sure, science, man. But like,
With the 17, I reckon I could give it a good stab, but Lily would not survive the process.
yeah. I mean,
I think she might be down for that. If you
I would
promise to
give
save
a-
the kids.
Yeah.
I give a 12-13% chance of success and a 100% mortality rate.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, let's
Damn! No.
By the way, you can turn on the Paytax ward net, so you get like hard like hologram, so it does like cause like a physical. It's not like a defensive shield, but it will cause like a physical feeling rock face to appear, both over the entrance to the canyon and over the chimney at the top. Cool. You can see looking up like the little green laser lines of the ward net up from the top. Of course, it looks like rock.
Just checked. Unfortunately, the only warlocks to detect thoughts are the Grey Bold ones.
Yeah.
So I guess we head on to Tombstone.
Cool.
Which we should probably go now, because I'm now thinking if I combine the biobed with the Paytax system, maybe together. Yeah, that's what we should
Actually
go.
logical, to be fair.
But no, let's go, because I'll either fry your brain, the Paytax system, or both.
I don't want
Probably
to.
both.
Probably both.
Yeah.
Okay. You. Does anyone have any things they want to do or raise?
Yeah,
or say
I mean, I've
before?
spent the morning, so you guys have got time.
carry on with
You
that
guys
for a
do
bit.
have a morning, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
So, any last?
I will excavate more things.
Cool. You get the military security tents done at the front. Happy with that?
Before we leave, I will approach you at some point in the morning.
Yeah, I'll
more
just
secret
be
messages.
busy in the biobed.
You're spoiling me.
But
so
this
much.
time
Secret
it's-
messages today.
It's now brains that's on the... not literal brains, but like, I don't know.
Moved on to brains, I see. Is that a
What-
step up from hearts?
Oh, yeah, because you wouldn't realise that you knew. Yes. This is a project for Granny.
Ah.
Because if I can get it to scan the brain and then somehow display that, we might be able to see what she saw.
I see.
Mm.
Any headway?
There's a 3% chance I can make it work, but Granny's brain won't.
Let's table it, idea.
Yeah.
Table that for the next meeting.
I have a favour to ask.
Sure.
Whilst I think I'm getting the hang of all of this technology, the magic arts have always eluded me. I noticed when we were back in the town that you were able to detect magic. You were able to do something, and your eyes would glow, and your goggles would glow, and can you do that now? I have an item that I think I would like to know an answer to.
Oh, yeah, sure. And she'll rummage around her pockets, goggles come down. Actually, she will put a hand over her eyes as she pours the liquid into the goggles, presuming that if direct contact with the eyes may well cause blindness.
Safety.
Yeah. And then the goggles will come down, so cast Detect Magic. What do I see?
Out of my pocket, I'll pull out a watch.
The watch.
The watch appears to be entirely non-magical.
What were you expecting to see?
I don't know whether to be relieved or disappointed. Either way.
It's a lovely watch. It's a beautiful. It's not expensive. It's just beautiful. It's as expensive as a silver pocket watch would be, but the like care and attention in it is something that must have taken a very long time.
So, as far as I can tell, it's not magical, but presumably it's got some significance to you.
I mean, it's a gift. I've only just received it. It came yesterday.
What makes you think it might be magical?
It's very uncommon to receive any gifts from the bank.
Oh, it's a gift from the bank? Didn't realise it was a two-way... Well, I suppose... Is this different from your payment? Because presumably you get paid for working for the bank.
A very modest stipend.
Is this the same modest stipend as the modest loans that you... not loans, modest financial aid?
They're loans. People
They're
are
loans.
borrowing money from the bank.
Yeah, are these similar?
It's significantly less.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't get to tap into the resources of the bank. Therefore,
Yeah.
customers, not for
Yeah, don't.
lowly employees.
No, don't get high on your own supply. I
Absolutely.
understand that. Can I examine the watch more quickly?
Please
So, so it's not magical. Can I see if there are any runes engraved into it?
Most certainly. Roll me an investigation check.
Of course. Yeah, don't like that number. That's 7. Investigation. So that'll be a 12.
There are no runes. There are no magic mouths. There's no inscription. These gears are you almost appreciate this as a work of artifice. This is mechanical and pristinely cold and beautiful, like in a very like an ice sculpture.
Is there a way? So, with the mechanics of the watch, is it indicative of a particular style of work? You know, because I'm assuming this looks quite expensive, or it's quite elegant.
Elegant is a good word.
Yeah.
Roll me history, I would say.
Sure thing, yeah. Because I'm just thinking that some, like the high price watches we've got now, like Rolexes and stuff like that, they've got very distinctive.
Yeah.
Can I roll like an investigation to get a rough appraisal?
Please, yeah.
That's another 12.
14 on appraisal.
The Catholic in me deeply wants me to say it's worth about 30 silver. But I won't say that. It's worth 3 gold. Yeah, it's nice. It looks like what any PA and any bank in Harlan would buy as a modest kudos, or possibly a bribe. What's the question?
Is it distinctive of
A style.
Yeah, like if there's branding in this world, is it?
Oh, sure. Like,
like is it the?
Is there like a maker's mark or?
Yeah. Is it the?
Not especially.
Okay.
What was your investigation?
12 for investigation and then 12 for history.
Total.
Both times. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. It's.
They weren't good rolls.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Not particularly. There's no evidence this was made by a particular person. If anything, it looks like you've begun to see machine-made things. This looks, at the same time, very personalised and very impersonal. You can see it's got like this lovely like engraved AA, and the A's are like linking into each other. Augustine Older, as you know that Uncle Augustine, his name is. And yeah, on the inside cover there is a little inscription that says for 15 years.
Okay. I can't see anything particularly distinctive about it, apart from, I guess, congratulations. How old are you?
55.
55. Oh, you've been with the bank a long while. And I'll hand the watch back. It's not magical. Would you like me to make it magical?
How would you do that?
I do anything, and then
That is a wonderful evasion of the question.
at which point I will pull out like a handful of crayon schematics. Mechanically,
How do I do anything? Yes.
Mechanically, it's the artificer tinkering thing.
Magical tinkering, yeah.
Yes. So there'll be several schematics that I can pull out, which I can't remember how I get to it on this screen.
While Mike's searching for that, Joe,
Yes.
I'll ask Leviathan, have you sent out any drones before, like me? Have you copied your consciousness into another thing before and sent that out?
No.
Okay.
I do not wish this to sound rude. You were a last resort.
It's not rude at all. I'm very aware that I am not your first choice.
And I not yours. Magical tinkering. The object sheds bright light in a 5-foot radius and dim light for 5 feet. Whenever tapped by a creature, it emits a recorded message. It can be heard 10 feet away. Continuously emits your choice of an odour or non-verbal sound, wind, waves, chirping, or the like. Oh, I want to make it sound like the like. And a static visual effect appears on one of the object's surfaces. It can be a picture, up to 25 words of text, lines and shapes, or a mixture of these elements as you like.
Augustine smells with a Z.
Arcane propulsion armor, armor of magical strength, boots of winding.
Oh, you're thinking of doing a full infusion.
Possibly.
Ah,
Enhanced
okay.
Arcane focus. That one might work for you. Do you cast spells? Yeah, not that one for you then.
Oh, that reminds me, I've got 2 pearl-handled revolvers if anyone wants any.
Yeah. He's a flashy git, was that deputy?
Yeah.
You've got. Sorry, you said revolver.
I've got 2 pearl-handled revolvers.
Nah, I'm still good with mine. Thank you. Ooh, I could infuse it though. No.
You actually could, like repeating shots.
Really need to
Yeah.
not distract the designer right now.
Question for the floor: can I turn a watch into a homunculus servant? Like some weird floating, like
I mean,
Like the clock
okay,
from
so the first thing I'm going to ask is, Rich, would you want that to happen?
No!
Okay. so now we are in the realm of only thought experiment. Yes.
cool.
Little legs, it just moves
The
around.
robot telling all my secrets? I don't think so.
It doesn't have to talk. It could just bite.
You watch out, throw it at someone. It's like,
Okay.
well, who throws a watch?
I have a mouth.
So-
I cannot scream, but I can bite.
So okay. So she'll put those ones and pull out some of the other ones, and then the small magical tinkering. So it can emit light if you want. I think it can make some noise.
I will definitely let you emit light only when you open it.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah. So magical.
You then try to use it as a watch. Ah!
It's like turning your phone on in the middle of the night. My eyes! Oh, 9!
Good whole stag.
So I could turn it into like a digital watch. So when you open it, you get a digital readout.
No.
Or it could play a message in either my voice or your voice, and it could say, "Welcome to your watch."
That's beautiful.
You know what? I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the offer.
She'll hand it back. Well, so yeah, no, it's not magical, and nor will it be unless.
Would you like it
You
to
want
smell
it
of Gouda?
Look at this little adorable thing. Look at that. It's very cute.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
I don't think neither of us have the artistic ability to make it show what I would want it to show.
Sounds like a challenge. What do you want it to show? And
A person.
person. Okay, she'll pull out a slightly bigger blank, like scroll. Describe the person.
Again, I don't have the artistic ability to describe her, and you don't have the artistic ability to render her.
So it's a her.
Look at that fish for information. The windy ass route.
So you don't know what she looks like?
I describe for me your lecturer back at university in as much detail as you can. Could you render an accurate image of them right now?
Well, I mean, I had a video call with her like yesterday. So the problem.
I would require a very long distance call for this person.
Take a point of inspiration, because that was fucked.
Oh, okay. Is this a thing that I might understand when I'm older? Because I still remember quite a lot from when I was younger.
Yes.
Okay. Is being an adult hard? It's hard.
Yes.
Okay.
Just a different voice. Yes.
I thank you for the offer, though.
Okay. Well, if you ever want it to light up or anything when you open it, say, or if you want it to smell, it could be nice smells or bad smells. Like, can you remember what she smells? Yeah. Can you remember what she smells like?
Smell is one of the strongest memories.
Because that might help trigger things. Like, I don't have to.
Again, it's less the can I remember it and more can I accurately
Can you put it into
articulate
words?
and then can Misty then replicate it?
It depends on if it's a common smell.
No.
Can do petrichor quite well.
I think the desert's pretty lousy on Petrichor right now, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
What? No, it's literally just rained.
Exactly.
That's what Joe meant.
Oh,
Yeah.
lousy as in there's a lot of it.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to lousy as in there's not a lot
Sorry,
of
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me being...
No, that's fine. Okay, well, yeah.
I thank you for your time.
Do you get one of these every year? Or every 5 years?
This is the first one I've had?
It's the first one you've seen.
No. Hence why I wanted you to check.
And you've just... Yeah. So you've been with the bank 15 years. Congratulations. Okay.
Considering that I know Rich's backstory, it's ludicrous that I am this excited to get some of Augustine's backstory.
Okay. Would you like anything else made magical?
I mean, can you make my sword better, or?
Oh, can I? Yeah. What do you want it to do? I can make it explode for one time only.
I cast duct tape on this dynamite and this sword. Digivolution!
Or,
On a scale of making it smell nice and exploding, is there somewhere we can meet in the middle?
yes, I'm sure there absolutely is. Beats.
Enhanced weapon.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I can make it more powerful. Cool. As I don't need it to infuse my armor anymore. What's the cost on that?
There's none. You just touch it with your tools.
Is that an instant thing, or do I have to
Yeah.
spend like an?
I thought it was a short rest.
It could be.
After a long rest, I think, when,
Oh, okay.
when the first thing you do of the day, and similar to how you prepare spells.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on to it for now. Give it to me when we're going to bed, and then it will be sharper.
Sure.
And you like this colour, right? I can make it any colour you want.
This colour is fine.
Okay. Cool.
That was the longest conversation I think you've had with any character thus far, bar the
Bar
one
Lily,
after
yeah.
the Lily.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fantastic. Cool. You set the Paytax unit on like a timer almost. You got like a sort of garage door opener program in your like wristwatch thing in the absolutely.
Do you give us all the access codes to that?
Sure.
And leaving behind this, like, you've lit a fire here and it smells a little of smoke, like natural wood smoke, and meals have been eaten here, and it's slightly retreated from that liminal space that it was of just a place of death and despair. And that you just feel promise in the place a little as you head out from it. And you've most certainly got a place to retreat back to should you need to. And you start to head west, east. That was like the one
Yes, Mike.
thing. That was the one thing. You start. So the question is, where are you guys heading? Are you heading? I'm going to
Tombstone,
activate.
I think.
Yeah, I think Tombstone is the
Yeah.
next most sensible place to go to.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you set off. You're going on a road. It's not like a paved road, but it's a track. Like you're not going bumping over dunes or through like craggy mountain passes with like spoiled rock all over the all over the floor. And over this day, you begin to pass people on the road, which is such an alien feeling, even after spending only a month in this just featureless desert. You start to see like other caravans and caravan guards, and actually it's not terribly long before you overtake some of the former townsfolk of Slumbering Hollow who are just making their way on foot. And they sort of like, that's a full like tip of the hat of
We're recognised and respected.
You saved our fucking lives. Thank you.
I mean, cat fits, the Stetson fits.
Boy, howdy.
Yeah, and you, you are in full travel mode again. Suddenly, the whole desert, flat as it is down here on the plains below the mountain ridge, you're basically following along the southern edge of that big spine mountain with like the craggy protrusions coming out of it. And actually, a couple of hours afterwards, you pass the Slumbering Hollow Silver Mine, which is a place you could have gone the other day. And it is fully like chained up across the like the boards have been nailed in and chains have been put across it. Not that it would stop anyone dedicated, but yeah. You carry on down the road, and it is blinding, the light, as you reflecting on this perfectly flat plain, or the puddles sitting in like the hollows and the mud, this bright sunshine reflecting off. You're just sort of snowblind a little. Who is driving the cart? Who's sitting in the back? What are you guys doing as you travel?
I think maybe to keep her mind off things, Lily's driving the cart, because that keeps her kind of focused on that and not just spiraling down into the prophecy and trying to and working her brain against something that's not going to lead it to any results. She knows she has to go east, but she doesn't know much more than that. So
You are sitting there, and the one piece of solace that your mind can come up with is you desperately try not to think of the grey elephant. You know what I mean? As you desperately try not to think of the one thing your brain knows you have to think about.
yeah.
The only thing going round and round your brain is east is one more direction than I've had this year.
Yeah.
Will, Augustine, Misty?
So, I would like to, because we're in the cart, right?
Yeah.
Can I continue to work on my datapad repair project?
Yeah, go for it. Roll me Tinker's Tools, Arcana, Tech, one of those.
Yeah, cool. 21.
You can have another 2 successes. Does that bring you up to 5?
It does.
You see the little, what's going to be there in a couple of weeks. You see that sort of like,
Yeah.
the Zonal Systems logo, which would eventually become the Immortal logo. Pulses on, and then as you like slot the last like panel back into this like slit, and it goes completely flush. The little holographic screen appears, and you have another working datapad.
Huzzah!
I'm gonna air gap this one.
Yeah, this one I will then send a friend request, I guess, out to Leviathan.
Leviathan, there's like a couple of seconds, and then the sort of channel is established, and you see again, Leviathan also communicates with you in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You via the earpiece, in that very sort of iRobot kind of slightly sexy voice.
Yeah.
Doesn't really talk to you much. Interesting. You get texts. You get this is written, and you see.
Does Misty have an earpiece?
No.
You could have an earpiece if you so wanted.
If you didn't have an earpiece, then Will would have given you an earpiece.
Yeah. Could you roll me 2d4?
2d4.
So this will be in addition to Misty's earpiece, the one. This is how many you'll be able to get working.
3 and 4, 7.
So you have 7 earpieces that would work. They're not going to be cross-country calling. It's going to be, I would say, 100 feet.
Do we know that you've created that many?
It's got a little baggie.
Yeah, I've got 7 earpieces here.
That is impressive. They could be valuable trading commodities if we ran into Kyoto again.
True.
There could also be, if we find anyone that we want, anyone technically minded that might want to be able to create more of them, or if there's anyone that we want to invite to know them.
Cool.
You bring the datapad online,
Yeah, and then
and
I'd like
after the channel comes in, you get you get the text written through, and it says, Misty, good morning. I apologise for leaving hastily last night.
It's alright. I fell asleep. This is our this will be our work pad where we can collaborate, and then I will, I guess, grant her admin level rights on this device as well, so we can share and transfer stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything you want her to work on?
Ask the others. I might type something.
Very good. Augustine.
Again, the background projects that the work on.
Most certainly. Let me remind myself of the specifics.
Tell you again.
Yeah. I just can't remember if I've made you roll any rolls, but type it in anyway. But just because it's good to have it in my consciousness. Yeah. Cool. I would say I'm gonna set like a threshold of successes to get that done. And it's gonna be 4 successes from Tech and 3 from Arcana.
Okay.
So roll me one of those checks today, because you're going to have to do both parts of it. They're sort of 2 objectives on the same sort of system, but yeah.
Not today. I was 2 on the die.
Fair. No worries. You're fiddling around with the wrist pad. However, you are getting a lot more proficient with it. I mean, even just like the garage door opener for like the Paytax unit would have been. I mean, you were opening like the settings menu a couple of days ago, and now you're sort of like really going for it. So my dad got a smartphone. Will.
Okay, Will at first thinks about going and grabbing flicking through some of the papers to get more information.
Okay.
But then he has second thoughts, and he thinks that he feels like that the reason that Leviathan is glad that he sent the letter is because his own emotions were kind of hurting Leviathan a bit.
Ooh.
So, even if that's wrong,
that's
the impression he got.
That's a great inference to take, even if it is whether or not it is correct.
And so he's actually going to spend that entire time meditating, trying to keep his stop letting his emotions run rampant, and try and tamp down the confusion and make things more ordered.
I want you to roll me a raw d20 and say whether you like highs or lows.
I always like highs.
Very good.
This dice always rolls low. 17.
You sit there for like maybe an hour, and like you had some like office off day, you know, like a days out where you had like sort of like a meditation tutor come into the clerk's office and try to teach you how to deal with a soul crushing office job by meditating. It's not based on any kind of fact.
I mean, this, and I unfortunately drove this meditation guy to insanity.
Absolutely.
Because I was so dull I didn't need to meditate before.
You get about 40 minutes in, and Leviathan comes over the... It's very sweet of you, William. Please go and read the paper.
Okay.
Cool. I need to answer a secret message real quick.
There's a lot of those going around.
I'm going to get back to that person because that whole thing is, as this person will agree, a lot.
Yeah. Whoever that is doesn't expect an answer right away. There's a lot to unpack
subtle.
there.
Very
Can I get a perception check from your good self by the way as you're driving? You've got three nerds just sort of like doing arts and crafts in the back, and then you're up front driving.
So I think while that's happening as well, Lillian will very quietly say over the earpiece to Leviathan, "Deity, I think I might. I'm sorry I upset you yesterday." Perception is 18.
18, fantastic. Leviathan, I was going to say, is already having conversations, but she's more than capable of having many simultaneous.
Yeah.
She's all
Open
got
new
processes
thread,
how she
new
used to,
conversation.
apparently.
Yeah. That's quite alright. I am working on processing. You, on an 18, you can see ahead of you, you've passed maybe sort of 10 or 11 different sort of little parties of people, maybe 5 of them from Slumbering Hollow. You, I believe, have 2 or 3 ants now, because you had...
Yeah, we've got 3.
So you are, if you train up in one, like, wagon, you can get a real clip on.
Yep.
So you are actually overtaking people even who are on like ants and beetles. And you come to like a narrow rock canyon, like high, like beautiful burnt sandstone walls. August, I think you peer out, and the first thing that goes to your head is, man, that would be a lovely site for an ambush. And you peer out and you scope, you can see all the places where you would hide people. And there's no people in there. But you know that it would be a good place. And Lily, I think you get a little bit of that, but we just our resident ambush expert over there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's safe. But you do sort of catch a couple of glints in the sand. Like metal.
Like bullets, like spent cartridges and stuff.
More like armour, actually.
Have a look down there.
Are you sort of going to dismount and actually investigate?
Yeah, if there's something like glinting in the thing, I was just kind of...
like you think this is sort of sticking out of like half a puddle, basically. You think it's probably been like... It might not have been washed into the canyon. It might have moved, but so it's
Right.
been uncovered. It looks about... Roll me a history check. Like a 1 on a history check will give you that it's modern rather
3.
than precursor.
It's not a 1.
It's
3.
like this is not precursor. This is straight up like it looks like armor, like plate armor, but
Yeah.
it's weirdly like proportion. It's like a portion of like cuirass, like the bit that sits there to stop swords going down into your neck.
Yeah.
It's this, but it's like grotesquely proportioned and like humanoid, but not human, and
I
not
think-
coyotl either.
Not Coyote either. Okay,
No.
because I was thinking back to the dream I had and the giant black Coyote. So it's not that.
So this counts as plate armor.
It
It
would
is if you're the
be
hunchback
a
of
small
Notre Dame.
fragment of a suit of plate armor for something with a radically different body plan to yours. So it is not a suit of plate armor.
Misty will like it. I'll pull it out.
Yeah, you sort of just toss it back in the car. Have a look at that.
Yeah, here you go. Here's
Yeah,
a bit
like
of metal
this big-
scrap for you.
Yeah, it's just, can I get a history check from all of you guys?
That one.
It's fair, sorry.
12.
Is it a 10:30 cutoff? Just to say.
Yeah.
That's fine. Cool.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Oh, you know what this is. Oh, you like this. This is Myrmidon tech. It is a proprietary Firebird technology. It is used to create basically their like police force, strike force thing. They bind elementals into suits of plate armor, and then do stuff with them. Mostly bad. But yeah, this is so. Presumably, a Myrmidon was killed here at some point.
Are there any... So to bind it, is the armour... Would the armour likely to have been...
The armor
created
would
with any-
absolutely be ensorcelled. This has a couple of broken runes from the middle of a rune chain. So it's a bit like having like 4 words from somewhere in the middle of a contract. Like you can infer what the rest. You can infer the language the contract would be written in,
So
but you don't know where this sentence would have been in it.
being relatively young, being from an academic setting and getting a dirty 20 on history...
Yeah.
How culturally insensitive would it be to keep hold of this armour? Like, is that going to really annoy, like...
No, not at all. No, that's it might be legally dicey because it's the property of the Firebird Company and contains proprietary technology, but it is such a inconsequential piece of technology and such a small part of it that it is.
Gotcha. But it's not like we've found like a swastika on the like.
No.
Cool.
No, this is just a. This is from my 67 row Wild West Road Encounters.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Excel spreadsheet that I keep on my Google Drive.
No, I just didn't want to annoy. Was it Myrmidons? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't. Want
It's not going to annoy the elementals around here.
Yeah, because that.
Cool. Will.
Well, I guess maybe help Lily drag the thing up. But apart from that, reading papers.
Cool. Roll me an investigate and tell me what you're investigating.
Investigation's +3. Okay, so I am going to be investigating...
You have papers covering the events from a couple of months before the start of the game up to when you left Fort Morgan for the last time.
Yes. Okay, so I am going to look for anything vaguely prophecy related or prophet related.
About people who can see the...
About people who can see that, and if not them, then talks of prophecies that I might be able to use to trace threads to find other people who can see it.
Okay,
Does your sword have a hilt?
I'm going to say that
Or is it
the...
open?
It's like one of those cane swords, kind of.
Cool.
It is a bit of a dish rag of a paper, but
Mhm.
prophecy is kind of a bit wild on the speculation, even for yeah, a dish rag like yellow journalism kind of thing. But yeah, roll me that investigate.
That's a natural 19 for a total of 22.
Okay. You start to read through. What time period are you starting with? Are you starting from the beginning going through, or are you targeting it to any event that has happened?
I would probably go more recent and work my way backwards.
Cool. So you get to. There are ghouls outside the city. You get to the miraculous resurrection of Carter Garland.
Sorry, ghouls outside the city?
Yeah, like the hanged firebirds.
Yes.
Mad Josiah.
Yes.
You get to like the miraculous resurrection. You get to news of Carter Garland's death. You get to various tales of the battlefront and Carter's unit and the various people who were members of Carter's unit. Like they are like the Golden Boys, like him and his old commanding officer.
Ooh, I will put aside the clipping about Carter Garland's death.
Cool.
Because I want to read more into that in a bit, but I want to roll, so I'll keep on.
Yeah. On a 20, what I would say is
22.
so. On a 20 like echelon kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get a 25, but you did achieve a 20.
I couldn't have achieved a 25.
There you go. There is precious little about anything fortune telling or like fortune telling is kind of what you're going to get. People who are using like tarot decks and stuff to.
Yeah, nothing out of the regular background noise.
Yeah, but you do get that clipping of Carter Garland's death. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll read through that.
Cool. So from the beginning, I will just recap it for you. Carter was part of the Fort Morgan Irregulars, who are the catch-all soldiers of fortune of the frontier. Carter's unit particularly was led by him, and he was then under the command of he was part of the power structure, but he was quite high up. Carter is a child in Asimar for the out of world
Terminology.
Yeah, out of world terminology. Carter was killed on mission. His whole unit was wiped out. There was a battle with Ulpa Coyotl. Specifically, Silas Cunningham dragged his body back. His dead body missing a hand, big scratches on the face. Silas, when he found him, said that there were like magic burns around the body. They found that Carter's commanding officer had just been rendered into dust. General Chambers.
Does it say where it happened?
The battlefront.
It's not any more specific than that.
Does it say what the mission was?
It doesn't.
Is it notable that the mission is not named?
Not especially. They don't publicise, because Coyotl would have access to, or would be able to get access to these papers, so like even the... It's good, like, what's it called? Operative Security? There's a word for it. OPSEC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was notable for the death of General Chambers, because he was a very big figure.
General Chambers, was he normally... What would you normally expect a general to be on the battlefront?
Only for if there was something else happening. But
that's always been something kind of weird in D&D and things like this in general, is that in general also implies that they're also very kind of high level, like meta knowledge. So it doesn't work quite the same. It's like why it's like the equivalent is, why is there a tank on the battlefield? Well, because it's a tank, kind of thing.
Yeah. The general presumably had reason to be there. But yeah, there is like a small, like, it's a bit, it is a testament to the impact Carter had upon people that Captain Carter Garland has, like,
Top
the
billing.
top, like, above the fold, and then below the fold there is like, like a memorial to like an old, like a full, like old Travoldian war hero, and there's a statement from the Lady Chambers as well.
Okay. Where would the orders for this mission been likely to have come from?
Ephraim was the military authority, basically. He had McCoy's job before McCoy got it.
Mm-hmm.
Although she's only a colonel right now. But probably from Harlan, because That is where General Chambers was based.
That's where military high command is.
Not really. He
No?
just lived there. He had
Okay.
a house there with his wife and daughters. Cool.
When we get another day,
Yeah.
I'll say this to Lily. Just reading this paper about Carter Garland's death, and apparently there was a general on the front lines as well, which was a bit unusual, who also perished.
I thought his whole death was kind of odd.
Yes. When you next have an opportunity to ask your question,
Tomorrow morning.
possibly we should ask if we should go to Harlan, because that's where the general lived. Presumably that's where he worked out of.
I can do, dearie. That seems to make most amount of sense. I mean, we're headed east already, so I guess we're going the right direction, and Harlan is east.
Harlan's the most easterly. We
It
need,
is indeed.
might be a good idea to know if we need to go all the way there.
We've got a lot of travelling to do till we get to the next to Tombstone anyway, so
Yeah.
at this point I'm getting a little desperate. So
We'll do what we can to help.
You, Will hands you this scrap of paper,
Yeah.
and you recognise one of the people below the fold.
Is it the spy?
No, but it's one of the other figures from the dream. Chambers.
So it's talking about his first death, then. He died on the front line. No, the paper says he died on the front lines. Did he not die there?
I mean, Zach, go on.
I could ask something about Garland himself.
Were they at peace talks? Though, did you tell us about the dream?
Yeah.
The White Dove, symbol of peace,
Yes.
but then
Went badly.
went badly. Possibly they were at a secret peace summit.
That is possible. I don't know. Understand why my children, my grandchildren are involved though. It doesn't make any sense why they would be there as well.
Maybe, just maybe, the entire thing was sabotaged by a third party, and that third party is in possession of your grandchildren.
Possibly. There's a few parties that stand to gain from the war continuing.
Joe just holding his face.
To avoid insight checks on the DM.
Let me just stroke my chin at him for a second.
Fuck you.
I would have noticed if you hadn't started going. You were mugging, basically.
No, I was really trying not to smile. I'm just having fun. Yeah.
Because there are at least 4 factions that we're aware of: 2 human, 2 coyotal.
We have the Lightsworn Coyotal, Revealed Coyotal,
Yeah.
But they're not
General
faction.
Humans, and the
You're treating them
Firebirds.
as if they're all the same. They're not. The Revealed and the Lightsworn, they're different groups within those groups. And there could be one within those groups that could have gone, well, I don't like this piece, so fuck all of you.
I mean,
Like they could be making big peace with one of the Coatl that there's wars, but not all of them.
Well, it's currently at a bit of a stalemate, isn't it?
you know that Carter was there.
Yep.
You know that a vast black-robed Ulpa was there.
Yep.
And Chambers.
Which implies I need to know more about that. I think we need to go back to Fort Morgan and hope Carter Garland's still alive, or at least somebody who knows what his damn mission was.
Well, if we continue on to Tombstone, because that makes the most logical sense, because then we can go from there to there, and we can resupply in Tombstone.
That makes enough sense to me. I can always ask tomorrow if we should go to Fort Morgan.
We've got a couple of days before Tombstone.
Indeed.
A couple more questions.
Remind me, because you're... what species were your children again? They were...
They're children, but they have the horns. They're more like... They're harder to hide. Children like me and Garland, we can pass. Nobody takes 2 looks at us.
So you and Garland, did you say?
Carter Garland was a child.
It was Garland as a child.
Yeah, you could sprout those massive angelic wings.
Nobody wants to see me do that.
Oh, I just thought that's because he was dead. Huh.
No, that's not a dead dad, no. There is one thing.
What
though.
if...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he is a child anymore. He was, but the circumstances of his resurrection are very strange, and I could not heal him.
What if we stuck him in the biobed?
I don't think that's the problem. He wasn't wasted away. It's something else.
You couldn't heal him at all, or it had reduced effect?
I could not heal him at all.
I mean,
'Cause-
we could stick him in the biobed and scan him to see if we could figure out why he's not able to heal.
If we can get him that far.
That's
We couldn't even arrange a in-person, like a private chat with him. I doubt they're going to let us.
We could. He was just busy.
We did arrange. We had a private chat with him. It's just he was very busy, and then they were going to send him back on the front lines.
Maybe it's just me, but it felt like that he was being managed.
He was very much being managed. I had a conversation with him. I think he's being used.
If we told those above him that we had a possible lead on a way to cure whatever healing sickness was on him, or at least to identify it, then they would either let him go gratefully, or there's more shady shit going on. That's my thinking.
We'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
You guys bed down for the night halfway. There's a little sort of way station. It's just like a shack at the side of the road, just sort of half built into a little sort of lean-to in the rock, and half wood, because after all, wood's quite expensive out here.
Mm-hmm.
And as you bed down, the same phrase echoing around all of your heads. You have lost and lost, and those last lost sleep amongst the dead, but yet may be saved. Seek out my lady's chambers at the landing grounds.
Wait, does that come to all of us?
It's just what's present in your mind.
Oh, okay. It's more like that's been on our thoughts as opposed to the prophecy is repeated. But okay.
Prophetic.
You won't actually hear it.
I'm okay, cool. No, because that was about to be a massive threat. That I'm like, wait a minute. So, cool. Okay.
I really thought you'd got it then.
What, me?
No, Mike.
Oh, Mike. Okay.
I think in that case, with us bedding down on the
So
roadside,
I mean, it's entirely possible that we just need to go to...
It doesn't just reference Lily.
No. Yeah. At I have some theories, but at 10:30, that is not
we
the
should call
time
it
to
there,
start pulling at those
and
threads.
we shall.
It's entirely possible that Our Lady's Chambers are just means a battleground if it is talking about death.
A full destiny point to the first of you, I'm sure, is going to happen this week. To just text me the words "you fucker" over Discord.
Right.
I will call the session there.
I've
and we shall
completed
pick up
another goal.
One more. Before...
I think I might have completed a goal.
Okay, I'm just going to stop recording here.
Yeah.